Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. What you know about classic music?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Retro Wrestling Review Series, and today we're going to review Wrestle Kingdom 12. This is a mutual pick on all parties involved, so we'll get into why that's a pick. We've said it throughout the hype for this retro, but we'll get into why. But let's get right into things. I'm here with the person that produces all of my YouTube videos that I ever make on the channel, James the Heatman Hebert. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just relaxing, or I've tried to relax ever since this morning's tornado warning. I don't even know if you knew we got a tornado warning today.
Yeah, because I'm in New Hampshire, so I didn't get that. But it's been like really rainy and stuff here. It's so weird, actually. Before I introduce the next guest, I'll just tell you something that's weird. It's actually really sunny out right now, but it's fucking thundering right now. Like, it's just we're in a weird part of the storm. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's been a weird weather day today.
It must be like in what we call the eye of the storm, but I don't know if the eye of the storm has thunder in it, so I'm not really sure how that works. So, but yeah, let's get into the other person that's on this show. He makes all the thumbnails for every YouTube video that I make, and he's the first and only ever, as of this moment, WIW World Champion. Michael X, how are you today? I almost called you your real name, but I forget I can't do that on this channel.
I mean,
so how are you?
You can. I think it's already kind of been established.
But don't.
I know he prefers to use that name though, so that's why I had to make sure I said his WIW name. So
that's why I don't use your legal government name on the internet. Please don't. It's so bad for your career. Anyway, yeah, I'm just chilling out. Work was okay. The storm was fucking wild. I got to watch that whole thing go down. I was expecting a phone call from this man here about
no,
you gotta get the cover.
It wasn't. That's the thing. It wasn't even near your area. It was in Casey's though. I don't know what the damage is anywhere, but yeah, it was kind of fucking wild. Like, for those who don't even understand, like, because this is pre-recorded, we're recording this on a Friday. This is when they reported that there was going to be like this weird weather shit going on. So there you go. There's a little bit of.
It was awesome.
Tidbit for you.
Yeah. The front door to my store was leaking, which is super fucking cool.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
Yeah, super cool. I had to contact the boss and said, "Hey, please do us all a favor. What? Fucking get a new door in this place. Come on, man."
Yeah, right. Well, anyway, that's essentially what happened in our neck of the woods today. That was what happened.
Yeah, I mean, my neck of the woods, again, it was also really rainy.
In the woods.
I actually am near woods, so you know,
You're in New Hampshire. You're always in the woods.
Yeah, pretty
even
much.
when you're in the city, you're always in the woods.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, let's get to this retro today. So this is a retro we've wanted to do for a while. I think James and I have talked about this. New Japan is now in the fold in the retro umbrella. I think it's like one of the only wrestling companies that, of the big companies that we should say that hasn't joined the retro. I think the only company left is like NWA, so we'll have to, maybe see if we can fit that in somewhere. But I don't think anyone else is. Well, we're not gonna.
Nobody's gonna want NWA, dude.
Nope.
We should say no one's gonna want like the recent NWA stuff, probably like the old school NWA stuff. So
At this point, yeah, I mean, the only thing that I could fucking see anybody going back is when Power first started, because that ship has lawn sailed.
But anyhow, yeah, we've wanted to do Wrestle Kingdom 12 for a while. I think we always try to do it before Wrestle Kingdom comes out, but it's around Christmas time every time we think of it, and we're always so busy around Christmas time, and it's the holidays, and I think Wrestle Kingdom comes out usually it's like January 4th/6th or 5th. So because they do 2 nights now, so I forgot about that. So yeah, we just never get around to it, and then. We've always wanted to do Wrestle Kingdom 12 because it's like one of the most critically acclaimed New Japan shows that has ever been done. And we were just trying to find the right time to do it. And then All In got announced for Wembley Stadium. Obviously, so I guess we made a misconception because I think we're thinking that Wrestle Kingdom 12 sets up All In, but All In does get mentioned on this show because Kevin Kelly mentions during Cody's matches that he's talking about All In. I guess we could say if it wasn't for Wrestle Kingdom 12, I don't think All In's the success that it is because it shows that wrestling outside of WWE could do well buy rates wise and stuff. And
this was the first show that did that because the New Japan World subscribers went fucking crazy up.
Yeah.
So
and
it was wild. Like this was like kind of I think this was the catalyst to what AEW would eventually become. So there was that.
I just wanted to make sure we corrected ourselves because we said it leads to All In, but All In does get referenced on this show. So we're gonna look like idiots if we say, "Oh, they referenced All In," and then we're saying to hype up this retro, it leads to All In. But
fucking same goddamn difference.
Yeah. You gotta have
I'm sorry. If a fucking basement dweller gets fucking mad because we said it hypes up All In and then it turns out that little bit is wrong, like, get a life. I'm sorry. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. It's not that fucking deep.
But anyhow, yeah, so that's why we're doing it.
As a basement dweller myself, you're being a fucking asshole piece of shit. And I hope you die. I hope you die, you bitch, you die.
Well, I'm not dead yet, so sorry to tell you. Sorry to tell you, sorry to tell you, IWC, I'm still alive.
James and I are going to be alive for a long while, so... And Mike, too. I think Mike will make it a long while. So.
You asshole!
Wow.
I think Mike will be okay.
Wow. All right.
But anyhow...
Rim my future there. Good to know. I think he's going to be the first one to crow. Good to know.
I'm used to a 2-man booth. That's why I didn't. And because you're not on camera, so that's why I didn't mention you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I always forget the mic. It's always just like high school.
How dare you forget the mic? The mic is what sells.
I am your fucking show, dog.
But anyhow, luckily too for this show, Wrestle Kingdom. We were going to pick it anyways because this show was just a banger from the beginning of the show all the way to the end. It just gets better and better as the show goes on. So we've just wanted to do this for a while. We've done live reactions to it when I was doing live reactions at the time where James and I did that. And then I think we have reviewed this show, but I think it was just so long after it happened. It wasn't a retro, but it was like a month after it happened. So it was kind of like one of those things where...
Yeah, it was on the fucking goddamn round table.
Yeah, it was. So we haven't done like a full-on review.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't done like a full-on review of this show. So we're gonna do that, but we can't quite do that yet because we have to talk about what the state of wrestling was like at this time. And I feel like too, this is kind of weird because it's a story of two halves. Basically, WWE was pretty bad at this time. WWE was drawing, I think at this time it was record, maybe not record, but like near record breaking, like half empty arena shows on Raws and SmackDowns, and even the house shows were even worse. I think this is when it really started happening. WWE cut their budget, so they basically made all the sets the same. I know that was happening anyways.
This was leading towards the infamous Stomping Ground show, but we're like halfway. We're not even halfway there yet, and the arenas are already not selling out like
You're thinking,
on a consistent basis.
You're thinking of Battleground. That's when that started happening. So
right, but I'm saying like the peak of that was Stomping Grounds.
But it was happening here though. Raw and SmackDowns were happening in half-empty arenas here too. So.
Yeah, of course, because nobody gave a shit.
But yeah, WWE cut their budget. This is at that time where the WWE were just basically doing what they wanted versus what the fans wanted. I know we've talked about this before, but I think 2017 is like when it was really bad because they were trying to do things that was to the company's interests versus what the fans were interested in. I think they were starting to bounce back a little bit because the Royal Rumble happens, and that's like a little bit of a glimmer of hope that happens. And then, but we weren't there just yet. We were still kind of coming out of the dark times of 2017. We had a part-time champion on Raw that, we could say what we want, but a lot of people really didn't care for that. There's other things. Obviously, they tried to expand into the Indian market, but that failed miserably.
Maybe because they made the fucking goddamn guy they wanted to make the face of Indian wrestling a elitist heel. Maybe that fucking has a lot to do with it. I don't know.
We won't talk about that anymore because I've gone into detail about that. NXT, I will say, was doing really well at this time. I think NXT,
but that's only because the fan base was starved.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say because I remember watching, or not watching, because fucking I don't watch weekly content, but seeing like just a general like feel that everybody has on like all the forums and shit, and it's like it was fucking bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. Everybody was pissed, dude.
But
like it was to the point where like anything NXT, there was a lot of people that just shat on NXT because it's like, why is this better than the main roster? This is what
we've talked about this before. Yeah.
Why is the C show better than the A and B show?
And now it's
that was the fucking quote that we all said for quite some time.
Yeah, I think James and I said it on Master Soil Wrestling Corner days. So. I think there was Aftershock going up by this point.
And all it did really, I think, was make a lot of the fan base angry to the point where they either stopped watching wrestling entirely in a lot of cases, or they switched over to the indies like here. So
yeah, and we'll get to that. And then, but yeah, I will say NXT was still doing well, but I think this was when it was kind of like when NXT. If you remember, I had that period where it was still popular, but it wasn't groundbreaking at the time. I think 2018 is about to change that because, a lot of new stars come in and all that type of stuff. And then, we're about to get that Gargano-Ciampa feud, which really, is probably the best feud that NXT's probably ever done. And then, I think NXT UK was coming around pretty soon because they were starting to build the NXT UK brand, but it's not there just yet.
Was it ever there? I'm not gonna lie. Was it ever really there?
Not anymore. Not anymore at this time. That's what that needs to happen someday. Is that bad UK show?
No, I'm not doing Cardiff. You're not gonna pay me to watch that fucking show again.
Are you saying that I'm gonna do Cardiff? That's crazy.
No, like Chris Dodd and I would probably take it or something. So, but anyhow, I think it's ironic though, still to this day, that like my show was the only wrestling show that hated that pay-per-view, and it's like critically acclaimed and all that type of stuff. So, but anyhow, and I think to talk about this because it kind of leads to obviously a big thing happens with Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho basically saw his value. Basically, he didn't think he was much value to WWE anymore, and that all started at WrestleMania 33 when they basically demoted. That's the word I was thinking of. Demoted Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho's main feud that they had on Raw building for months. It was the main event program, and all of a sudden, they demoted that to. The second match on the card. It wasn't even the first match on the card. Like I think a lot of people would have been pissed. A lot of people would have been pissed it was the first match on the card, but I think it's actually worse to be the second match on the card at Mania than the first because no one really remembers the second match at a WrestleMania. I mean, at least if it was the first, a lot of people would have remembered it. And it was not only that, but it was demoted to the U.S. title match. And Honestly, I think it was the Kevin Owens 365 thing. If you remember, there's that documentary that came out about Kevin Owens, and he went and asked Vince if he liked his match at WrestleMania, and Vince said he wasn't happy with it. I think Chris Jericho saw that, and I think it probably pissed off Jericho. And because Vince, if you remember, Vince made the match so that way he didn't like it. He basically ruined the match for himself. Not only that, I feel like too we should mention what the world title match ended up being that year at WrestleMania.
Goldberg and Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 part-timers, which and that match pretty much ruled at WrestleMania. But like, yeah, it really should have been either just an attraction, or it should have been
Never
you
should
could
have
have
been for the
flip-flopped.
title.
Yeah.
Never ever should have been for the title, and it was bullshit they did that. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho was the biggest story that they were telling on television.
And we talked about what that led to at Double or Nothing Retro, but this is the immediate impacts of it. But before we kind of get into that, indie wrestling went on a boom period in 2017. Obviously, indie wrestling was always popular anyways, but 2017, I think, is when indie wrestling really starts to boom. Because
I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call New Japan indie wrestling. I feel like that puts down at least what it represents, because we're talking about a company that's been around since what? 1970, 1980?
I think they said 1982.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time. Like, independent companies like Ring of Honor is fucking indies.
Yeah, that's true.
Noah would be like an indies company. Like, I could get that, but I don't know. I mean, let's be honest, 2017, we're talking about the boom period for the Bullet Club. They're at the fucking peak of their popularity between 2015 till about 2019 is when they're at the big boom in their time.
And so I'll say New Japan / indie companies to kind of
yeah, because they worked with everybody. It didn't matter what it was, but yeah, calling New Japan an indie company is like, wait, hold on, are you sure about that, bro?
Yeah, but outside of WWE, like wrestling, except Impact, Impact, I think, was about to turn things around, but it still wasn't there yet. They were kind of coming out of that. They tried to rebrand in the GFW, but obviously because shit happened with Jeff Jarrett, they couldn't really rebrand anymore, so they had to go back to Impact.
Couldn't draw a fucking dime, Jeff Jarrett.
Well, it wasn't because he couldn't draw a dime. If you remember, I think he showed up in Mexico drunk and had to go to rehab and stuff. So he had to leave.
Couldn't piss in a cup properly, Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, and I think too. He sued. I think I remember he sued Anthem, and that's what led to Impact having to go back to Impact instead of being GFW. I think it was definitely back to Impact, but Impact really had to. Is this around the time, too, where Scott D'Amore becomes, the executive vice president of Impact, or is that still a little bit of a ways away?
Yeah, because fucking Scott had it with what the fuck was happening with Impact, so he just took over and decided, you know what, I'm going to fucking turn this shit around. Nobody else can fucking do it.
2017 TNA, pre-Anthem?
Anthem's still involved, because Jeff Jarrett tries to sue Anthem for... Anthem had been around for a while, because... Anthem was the reason that the Hardy Boys didn't come back with the broken gimmick originally in WWE.
Who the fuck was the champion during that time?
Well, what, in 2018?
Well, 2017.
Right.
That's tough to answer because someone could be the champion, but because they taped the show so far in advance.
Well, if I remember correctly, you said that the fucking Wrestle Kingdom 12 is right around Christmas time, right?
It's
January.
Right after. I said it's after. I said because that's what we never do the retros. Because we always think about doing after Christmas. It's right after New Year's, pretty much.
Right after New Year's of 2017. So they still
2018.
2018. Okay, 2 seconds. I got that.
And that's in 2017.
Yeah, they would have been a part of Anthem for a cup of coffee, for a little while already. They would have been in there for around 3 to 4 months. Yeah, they would have just been brand new.
I mentioned 2017 shit because 2017 shit's what leads to this show happening. So
yeah, that's true.
And plus, it's only the first couple of days of the year. 2017 is still kind of still in effect at this time. But New Japan and indie wrestling was really booming. Again, Impact was still on a rebuilding stage. I just wanted to make sure I didn't forget to mention Impact. But yeah, New Japan and ROH and all these other companies were really booming. The Bullet Club, as Mike mentioned, was at its peak at this time. I believe it's the Bullet Club and the Elites T-shirts that are like the first wrestling T-shirt at Hot Topic. I think this was right after that happened. That were doing record numbers in merch, and this was like the first group outside of WWE to accomplish this. It was absolutely insane. ROH, ROH was doing really good numbers wise because they put the ROH title on Cody, and Cody really just brought that brand and really made that. I mean, it was always watchable at this time, but he really got ROH some really mainstream exposure after winning the ROH World Championship and everything like that. And ROH was just on fire at this time. New Japan was on fire too. This is a year obviously after Kenny Omega versus Okada and their trilogy of matches, and just New Japan just putting out a really awesome product with their G1s, and this is just peak New Japan, I would say, in the 2010s decade type of thing. It's just,
for sure.
That's why I made sure I didn't say peak New Japan, because I know the New Japan.
When WWE fucks up, the wrestling world does great, but when they're doing great, not so much.
I don't know. Wrestling's kind of in a boom period right now, though. So
for the moment, yes, I would completely agree with that. But if you look at the pattern of most companies during the time when WWE fucks up, everybody else is super successful. When it's WWE being super successful, everybody else is kind of fucking around, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
So, very weird.
Everything was just kind of doing well. Even NWA looked like it was going to get a resurgence, because I think this is not long after Billy Corgan purchases the NWA, and it looked like we were going to get the NWA getting a hot period, which does happen for a couple years, and we kind of, as you heard earlier in the video, that doesn't really materialize.
Last Billy Corgan fucked up royally. Let's just put it out there.
But
all you needed was one Magnus condom, and you were fucked.
But anyhow, this is a glimmer of hope for the NWA, because obviously everyone was excited when Billy Corgan purchased the product, because they thought he was going to turn the company around because of how successful he was in the music industry and stuff.
Oh no,
he did.
Let's get it right. He did. He absolutely turned the entire company around. It's just the issue came in, and I think we could all agree on it, was the minute you give the fucking title to Mr. Magnus himself, and he's like, I never want to lose a belt ever again, and it was over. It was done.
Yeah, and he'll drop the belt to fucking Trevor Murdoch, who is way past his prime at that
Dick
point.
Murdoch Jr., more like.
Yeah.
By the way, let me correct. I will correct you, just because I know you know him as Magnus. You got to remember he was called Nick Aldis when he was in the NWA.
Gives a shit?
That's cool. So you're saying Magnus here, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, and he's just he can fucking take the high horse of why he left the NWA all he wants. He is just as much to blame as Billy Corgan is for that fucking company going under. I'm sorry. He's the reason why Tyrus is the goddamn champion. I'm convinced that that's why they went the way they went. Because Billy Corgan just said, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want now. I don't care if nobody else likes it. So now he's making Tyrus the champ. Because he likes him as a person. Good job, buddy.
But anyhow, but again, we had the glimmer of hope with the NWA, and I think that's about where wrestling is at this time. As Mike said, WWE is sucking, and every company is, either doing well or trying to make themselves better type of thing. That's kind of the short end of it. But this show
it's fantastic. This is a top to bottom fantastic level card.
Yep.
That I have the only minor fucking complaint of that I will bring up during this. Very small.
Oh, you're going to wait? Okay, until we get there.
I'm going to wait. Don't worry. If there is a match that I want to talk about, 100%, that I'm like, this was the thing that made me go, we could have cut this down to like an hour. Fine.
We'll get to that. But yeah, let's just start talking about the show. The date was January 4th, 2018. Or potentially January 5th, probably if you watch it in the States, obviously. But obviously, it's January 4th on Wikipedia, so that's the number I'm going to go off of. The city, obviously, was Tokyo, Japan. The venue was the Tokyo Dome. Obviously, they tried to do it in the Tokyo Dome. mostly every year. I think probably one year they didn't do it in the Tokyo Dome. I think that might have been like the COVID year because obviously COVID screwed everything up.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
So then COVID appeared.
The attendance for this show total was they actually released the numbers. There's two numbers for this, which is kind of cool. It's 43,000 people. The ones that paid though were 34,995 people. I don't know why some people didn't pay. I assume like it's probably one of those things where, like, for example, if we all went to a wrestling show and I paid, they would probably just take like my money type of thing. Obviously, I think some of them were family and friends there because on Being the Elite, the Young Bucks like talked about they brought their family and friends there, so could have been that type of stuff going on. So, and the tagline for this show was "Pro Wrestling Together 1.4" because it takes place on January 4th. It's a big wrestling show, so. There you go.
They like having pro wrestling together.
Yeah.
We like to touch. We got the power. Yeah.
But yeah, going through the actual show itself, we're gonna start with the pre-show. James and I didn't see the pre-show at the time when it happened because we didn't have New Japan. Well, let's just say we watched the show a different way that we're not supposed to be watching it. That's all we'll say.
I can't believe that you stole my library card, you fucking dickheads, and decided to go on the crazy like foreign internet to watch this legally. How dare you?
I'm sorry, man.
I want my goddamn library card back and my bong. How dare you take my bong library card?
Well, Johnny has your bong. I don't know where the library card is.
I don't want it anymore.
Your library card probably has expired by this point, by the way. This is
I want it anyway. It's for the memories of you assholes stealing my library card.
Anyhow, the commentators for both the pre-show and the main show were Kevin Kelly and Don Callis. They were the English commentary team. I'll look up the Japanese commentary team. I can't find. They doesn't say what they are. Just
Masahiro Chono is one of them. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
That's all you need.
There's like a woman that's there that we usually see at the Japanese commentary team, but yeah, I probably couldn't even say the other names. Your ring announcer was Makoto Abi.
Yes, that's his name, Owen. You actually pronounced it properly. I was surprised.
Now, what we need to do is get you hooked on phonics.
Yeah, you do. But anyhow, he did a really good job. I think he's like one of my favorite internet announcers. I don't think he's there anymore. I'm pretty sure he retired in 2022.
I swear he was there for Forbidden Door this year, wasn't he?
Maybe he just brought him back as a one-time. I don't know if it was him, but I remember there's a ring announcer that retires in 2022. I think it is this guy, but I'm not sure. I can't. There's no Wikipedia page for him, so I can't click on it. So
whatever. They're all they all sound the same. They all have the same cadence.
Wow, racist.
James, be careful. Be careful, James.
Yeah, no, not like that. I'm saying like they
all look.
New Japan.
I can't believe that they all go to the same toothbrush place. It's crazy.
New Japan likes to have the same cadence for all their ring announcers, which is why they'll never get fucking Leah Hart. Even though they should.
Oh, dude, I would lose it. Lena Hart would be fucking great. If you don't know who she is, Owen, please look her up.
I gotta look her up.
She is one of the greatest Pride announcers of all time. She does Pride MMA.
Okay.
Which is like if MMA and wrestling had a baby.
Oh, okay.
It's incredible. But
so then
it's fucking great.
So then we had your referees for the show. We have Kenta Saito, Mori Asami, Red Shoes Uno, and Tiger Hattori. I think all these referees are still there. Red Shoes I definitely know is there, and Tiger I know is still there. The other two I don't know. There's no Wikipedia on them. I have watched recent New Japan enough where I know two of the four referees are still there. So there you go. I meant to do the research on that part before I started this video, but I forgot to because I forgot I answer the referees every time. So, yeah, we're just gonna start talking about. And as for the commentators, Kevin Kelly, we've done a career retrospective on him before, and we actually have done Don Callis. Well, What are you releasing first, James? Full Gear or this video? Because if you're releasing Full Gear first, that's why I did the perspective on Don Callis.
I think I'm releasing this before Full Gear. So
Well, just watch the Full Gear retro when it comes out, and
make it easier on yourself. There you go.
Good cover up.
But yeah, it started off with the New Japan Rumble. This had been a yearly tradition for New Japan. They would just kind of get people who they wanted to have on the show, but they couldn't find spots for, so they would just throw in this New Japan Rumble. Obviously, they've made something out of this because this is obviously now known as the KOPW Championship, where whoever wins the Rumble just is the KOP champion, like the first one of whatever year that it is. But this was still kind of like in the early stages.
They win this Rumble and then they actually get a shot at the title, right?
No, I don't think it. No, I don't think it. Anything happens with the person that wins this Rumble. So
right. No, I'm talking about later when they change it to the KOPW title.
No, nobody wins. I win and that's it. Nobody else wins.
Yeah, I think here you just win it. You get bragging rights, but if you win the Rumble now, you actually get like the KOPW championship. Like
you have to go fight Great Muta. You have to go fight Great Muta.
Okay, let me just be very clear. When you win the KOPW championship, do you get a shot at another New Japan title?
I don't think so. I think you just defend that championship.
That's
all
stupid.
year.
Then just make it a regular Rumble. Like it's fine the way it is. You don't need to give somebody a goddamn belt.
They wanted to give someone a belt though, so. I think eventually it was a trophy, and then they turned it into a championship. So
yeah, I kind of like the trophy aesthetic because I think it looks a little bit cleaner, especially like All Japan style. I think it just looks a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely. So your participants in the this New Japan Rumble was Masahito Kahara, Cheeseburger, Bushi, Chase Owens, David Finlay, Delirious, El Desperado, Gino Gambino, Hiroshi Tenzin, Houston Thunder Liger, Kashua Kanemaru, Leo Tonga, Manabu Nakashi, Satoshi Kojima, Taka Michinoku, Tiger Mask, Toyoa Hanawa, Yoshihashi, Yashabu, that's completely wrong, hold on, Yashinobu, I think that says Kanemaru, and Yuji Nagata.
Kanemaru.
Oh, damn.
You got it right.
And then Yuji Nagata and Yujiro Takahashi. So, yeah. I know this is going to be funny because you guys watch New Japan a lot, so you're just going to have to hear me like butcher these names like crazy.
No, you're fine.
No, I just watch a lot of anime, and that's all it really is.
I know, so you're getting someone that doesn't watch a lot of that tries to watch as much anime as he can, but you know. So there you go. But yeah, I think I got most of these names right because I've watched most of them. I've seen on New Japan anyways. But I was kind of hoping they would have the order of the entrances and the eliminations on here because I didn't write them down myself. But I'm just gonna kind of go through what kind of happened in the Rumble. Basically, how this Royal Rumble went is it's the traditional rules of the Royal Rumble, except the difference is you can eliminate people by pinfall or submission. The thing I liked about this Rumble was, you know, how it had different arcs to it. So there was like 3 stages of it, I would say, storylines going on, which was cool. You know, Chase Owens did very well in this Rumble. This was kind of him breaking out. He had been around for a while, but he really wasn't obviously super well known yet, just because like he was kind of like, you know, lost in the shuffle of Bullet Club members because obviously there was still the Elite and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I mean,
let's just put it out. He ate the Young Bucks. He ate Kenny Omega. He ate the Gorillas of Destiny.
Yeah, so he's still kind of like in the infancy stages here, but he does well in this Rumble. He had some really good package power drivers on people and eliminates them and all that type of stuff, which is really nice. Who else does? Jushin Thunder Liger, seeing him was pretty cool. He does some really good stuff in this Rumble. Yuji Nagata goes up against, I believe it's Gino Gambino. That was really good stuff. They go at it. And the way Yuji Nagata gets eliminated is really cool. Like, I think he eliminated, like, Gino Gambino. And then 2 other guys came in. And while Gino Gambino was on top of him, they all pinned Yuji Nagata. So I thought that was, like, a good elimination. I liked that. Bushi looked really good in this Rumble. I thought he looked really cool. David Finlay too. It's kind of cool to see him like in infancy. I didn't realize he had been wrestling for this long because I didn't hear about him until like 2020, and they made it seem like he was kind of he's clearly online here, but he does pretty okay in this Rumble. He hits a lot of really good suicide dives. He hits a really good super kicks on people. So, that's good stuff. You got to see Juice and Thunder Liger go at it with El Desperado, and I enjoyed that. I enjoy seeing them go at it. They did some really good stuff with each other. Suzuki Goon works together, and this is kind of cool. I remember this now.
Suzuki Goon fucking butt fucked everyone in this Rumble. Like, they didn't care. They were just let's eliminate everybody together.
I think Chase Owens is the one that gets destroyed here. Like he's the one that's trying to like fight everybody off, and eventually he's just unable to do so. I liked it too because he actually tries to put up somewhat of a fight, but it's just the numbers game's just kind of too much for him, that type of thing. And then it looks like Suzuki Goon's gonna have to face it off with each other, but eventually the countdown starts and somebody else comes out, so that was cool stuff.
I don't understand why they don't just have all the people come out from the stage. Like they have them come out from like I don't even know. It's like I think it's like almost like a baseball pitch, like or a baseball pen. They're just having them come out of, and then they're just running to the fucking ring. I didn't like that bit too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
It is what it is.
Some notable stuff that happens. I believe it's Bullet Club or Suzuki Goon. I forget which faction it was. They were kind of infighting with Tiger Mask, Juice and Thunder Liger, and El Desperado. I think it was Suzuki Goon that was doing this, and they keep trying to take the mask off of Juice and Thunder Liger and Tiger Mask. So as like kind of like a to get back at them, I believe it's Tiger Mask just takes the mask off of El Desperado, and obviously the Juice and Thunder Liger and Tiger Mask end up getting eliminated because they'd rather obviously protect their identity versus reveal themselves to people. So that's why they get eliminated. They're trying to cover their face type of thing. It's really cool because El Desperado's mask gets ripped off and it looks like he's gonna get pinned, but the Suzuki Goon members like break it up and all that type of stuff. And like he has to like roll outside the ring to go put his mask back on. I thought that was a really good spot that they did. He's still even though he's still trying to cover his face too, he's still like attacking people and stuff too, which is really funny. I thought that was funny. And then eventually the finish comes. Cheeseburger comes in. He looks pretty good in this Rumble. He hits a lot of really good suicide dives on people. I thought Kojima looked really good in this Rumble too. He had a lot of good Koji cutters, and he eliminated a ton of people with his clothesline, which was good. But eventually it comes down to Cheeseburger, Kojima, somebody else, and the guy that wins, I have to get his name again. It was Masahito Kakahara.
Yeah, who just came back from winning a bout against cancer.
So that was cool.
Said on commentary, which means that any complaints I have of this are not going to factor in my final grade because that would be fucking shitty.
Yeah, but eventually him and Cheeseburger eliminate Nagata and the other guy, and then eventually him and Cheeseburger go at it. Eventually, Maki Ito. That's not the right name at all.
Maki Ito. Yeah, that's a female.
It was going to happen at least once. We're here
Mashi Ito.
Mashi Ito. There you go.
Rolls up Cheeseburger.
Maki Ito. Yep.
Mashi Ito rolls up Cheeseburger and gets the win, and he wins the New Japan Rumble. I'm okay with this. The guy just battled cancer. Once I heard he battled cancer, I'm like, okay, he has to win, especially when he was the last two of him and Cheeseburger. Like, it would have been a good push for Cheeseburger. They clearly wanted to keep Cheeseburger a face. I think it would have gotten him a lot of hate if he eliminated the guy that just fought.
If they fucking Masahiro Chono and it's like, oh, this man survived cancer, then they just murder him right on the spot.
Yeah, Masahiro Chono with like a lariato.
By the way, I think
he just comes into the ring, Yakuza kicks him and says, I beat cancer too, with two hands.
I think he was too.
Thanks, man.
Masahiro Chono, I actually thought he was the entrant that came in because he gets up and takes like his wind jacket off.
Yeah, he comes out. He comes out. They had to change his entrance music, but you could tell. I know the entrance music they used because it was "fuck y'all." And what's gonna do?
Dude,
But yeah, this one.
I can't believe he still gets away with that shit.
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah.
don't know how.
But this New Japan Rumble I thought was great. I liked the sections that they told. I thought, there was some good workhorse people here, and it told a nice story, and I give it an extra, it's probably like, I think I gave it 3 stars, but I think I gave it an extra star just because it's a nice, wholesome story that the guy that battled cancer came back and won the New Japan Rumble. I think that's a pretty cool thing, so I give it 4 stars. We're going to start with Mike to see what he thinks of this.
1 star. No, I'm just joking. It's like a 3-star thing. It's not that important.
3.5.
It's there. It doesn't. It's there. It does its thing, and it's over and done with as fast as it shows.
I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't
It was good.
overstay its
And
welcome.
wholesome.
No, there is one fucking match that overstays its welcome for me personally, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, can we fucking speed up a little bit here? But we'll get there.
There was one match. I don't think it's the same match I'm thinking of, but we'll see. But yeah, going through for the Rumble, I'm just gonna do quick career retrospectives. I did look them up, but we'll do a quick one. The guy that wins the Rumble, Masahito Kakahara, we don't really hear much more from him. His Wikipedia page doesn't go beyond his 2016 run. It doesn't even mention that he did this Rumble or anything like that. So I think he's just kind of doing stuff part time, and he's just chilling and all that type of stuff. So that's cool stuff. Cheeseburger. Obviously will continue to be a name in ROH mainly, and then eventually, once the pandemic hit, he wanted to change up his gimmick, so he changed himself into I think it's Famous B is his name now,
World famous CB,
world famous CB, and he's essentially enhancement talent for ROH. I think he's just brought in for the 0 Hour shows and all that type of stuff. So
that fucking blows.
Yeah, but they'll find something for him, I think, someday. So
yeah, the unemployment line is looking very more appealing. If I was him, I'd be like, maybe it's time to cut it. My losses here.
Bushi was he's still a part of the Los. I screw this name up every time, so I'm just gonna try to say it again. He's still a part of the Los Ingles de Nobles de Japan faction. He's been
that is the whitest way to pronounce that ever.
Los
Inglonables
Taco Burrito.
Hey, I tried.
Los Inglonables de Japón. There you go.
But I told you I screw up the name every time. So
just call him LIJ.
Just call it the LWO Japan.
No.
That's
just
call
it. Just call it LIJ.
But anyhow, he's competed in the Best of Super Juniors and done fairly well. He's won the Super Junior tag titles a couple of times, and he competed in the G1 a few times, and he's done fairly well. And the Best of the Super Juniors tag tournament, so he's done fairly well in his career, just being a good wrestler. And then Chase Owens, obviously, eventually, he's still he was still in Bullet Club for a while. I don't think he ever really reached the ground. He kind of still was in the same position in Bullet Club. He just is more well known now and all that type of stuff. He's won a few championships, not in New Japan, but I remember last year he was some type of champion in Canada where he won the main belt there, but I don't remember what the belt was. But I just remember him coming out with it at one point. And then he eventually has left Bullet Club recently. I don't know what happened to him, and now he's he's been just kind of doing his own thing in the mid card and all that type of stuff. So that's good.
Yeah.
And then David Finlay, talk about a career progression for him. He would kind of do his thing as a young lion. He eventually got injured for a little bit. I don't know, what happened, but he got injured, so he couldn't be around for a while. And then by the time
I'll tell you what happened. William Regal heard that he was wrestling and says, "A fucking Finley going around without a broken nose yet? I'm coming in. I gotta solve this problem now."
I like that story, so I'm gonna go with that story.
I agree.
This is what your dad did, you motherfucker.
I agree.
And then eventually, I think when he was about to come back, the pandemic hit, so he had to stop wrestling for a little bit. And then he formed Finn Juice with Juice Robinson. I had to think of his name for a second. And then they won the tag titles at Impact Wrestling a few times. And David Finlay has had competed for the IWGP US and Never Openweight Championships, but he never was quite successful at winning those championships. And then eventually when Bullet Club needed a new leader, he stepped in and he took over Bullet Club, and now it's known as Bullet Club War Dogs, which I personally think is the worst iteration of Bullet Club, but they're still trying to find their footing, so hopefully they can find their footing someday. Delirious was just kind of became a mainstay in ROH. He's done a few appearances in Impact. Huh?
Nothing. Don't worry about me.
And he eventually, he's made a few appearances at Impact Wrestling, but he wasn't very successful in those appearances. El Desperado, became a pretty mainstay in Suzuki Goon. They won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles a few times. He's done very well in the Super Juniors and the New Japan Cup. He's won the Junior Heavyweight title a few times, and now he's like a big hardcore deathmatch wrestler. He's done various hardcore death matches now. Gino Gambino, pretty much is just like a part-timer. He just kind of comes in every now and then, and he's mainly a trainer now and all that type of stuff. Hiroshi Tensen's basically the same thing. He's done a few New Japan tag leagues, so there you go. Jushin Thunder Liger pretty much wrapped up his wrestling career. He came in every now and then to do as a trainer, and then he had like a big retirement tour in 2019, which ended in 2020, which that Wrestle Kingdom, I think, would have been Wrestle Kingdom. If this is 2018, this is 12, that would have been Wrestle Kingdom 14. And then he retired, and now he's a part of the Japanese commentary team, and then he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. He was a 2020 Hall of Fame inductee, but he didn't get his actual induction until 2021 because of the pandemic, and he couldn't fly over there, so he just had to send like a little video message just talking about how happy he was. So that's kind of sad.
Nice.
Kazuhiro Katamara didn't last much longer in the business. He wrestled for about another year, left the company, and then eventually he ended up passing away last year. At age 36, he reportedly had felt unwell and called an ambulance to take him to the hospital, where his condition rapidly deteriorated. The cause of his death, has not been made public. He did have a few concussions and stuff. Again, I don't want to speculate that's what led to his death because I don't want to be that guy. But I just want to make
right.
Right. Dude, Chono came out of nowhere, bro, and fucking Yakuza.
No, it's not.
Chono
didn't kill him.
Is it wrong, though?
No, maybe Chono it's very wrong. He didn't kill him with the Yakuza
Chono
kick.
Came out of nowhere.
He didn't kill him with the Yakuza kick.
We don't
know if that's not what did it, though. It could have been a Yakuza kick.
Actually, Mike, even though Mike's doing this for lulz, we actually don't know because all it says is his last match was against Yuji Nagata, but then it says at the new beginning, he was scheduled to face Manobio Nakaishini. That's probably completely wrong, but yeah, he just never showed up. He said he was unable to compete, and then he just never showed. He just eventually
Chono heard, and then he showed up, and it was like, oh. Motherfucker!
Doesn't mean he hit him with the Yakuza kick and died.
He was forced to retire. He was forced to retire.
Doesn't mean he didn't hit him with the Yakuza kick.
No,
he also.
But
well, I do gotta read this more because then it does say he did get injured in a scooter accident. And after almost a year with news or little news or updates, he left New Japan.
News?
So. Yeah.
What? No, are you sure you read that right? Try that one more time. Are you sure he said with nudes?
After almost a year with little nudes. Oh, no, I did it again!
with little news.
With little news or updates on his condition.
There you go. Buddy, listen, I don't think that he's doing sexy fucking... sexy fucking pictures on his.
Oh, he's got a concussion. Okay, he might be doing stuff.
Yeah, you want to know how he got the concussion? Chono showed up. It was like, get off the scooter, and then fucking kicked him.
No, that's how he got his leg injury. Was the scooter? So.
God damn.
Leg injury and concussion. Chono showed up, bro. It was over.
It doesn't. I wonder if I like to think too. It doesn't even say. It says it was a scooter accident. Does that mean it was? I wonder if it was a motorized scooter or if it was like one of those old school.
He's got the little scooter
razor scooter.
Oh my god!
He dies on a razor.
I know how he got his leg injury. You see, he was trying to do like this sick trick in front of all the ladies, and then he banged him in the leg. He was like, "Oh fuck!"
Nice.
no,
Yeah.
my ultimate weakness.
Yeah, that's what happened, guys. Good
The
job.
Razor
going-
scooter hit him in the shin, and then Masahiro Chono came out of nowhere and hit him with the fucking Yakuza kick.
Mike and I are going to hell. The guy hasn't even been dead a year, and we're already making jokes about
Hey,
that shit.
listen,
We're going to hell.
we don't really know the man too well, and it's really sad and everything. But if I can make a joke out of anything, I will. And the idea of some man ripping it on his fucking Razor, like going down the street, he hits the curb and it hits him in the shin, and then he just hears, "Is that Masahiro Chono?" And then he just gets fucking big booted to hell.
But after his scooter incident, he quietly left New Japan in 2019. Can it really be quietly
see
though?
why.
If it can, is it really quietly though? If it's announced he left in 20, like the exact date, is it really quietly? I don't know. I guess
I mean,
it says quiet.
it was a like they didn't want to bring it up to the public, but all they left was a little bit of information. Then yeah, it was pretty quiet.
Okay.
Because
And then,
like the big thing is like they would have done like all the fanfare and shit. Sorry to cut you
that's
off.
true. Oh, it's fine. And then we have Leo Tonga. He eventually joined. He had just joined Bullet Club. He eventually fully joined Bullet Club and became like a full-fledged member with the Gorillas of Destiny. But then he got injured shortly afterwards, and he had to be off for like a year.
Fucking Chono, man.
I know.
Why is it Chono?
Injuries have. Listen, any injury that happens, it's because Chono showed up, and that's the answer. If you don't like it, you're in the wrong company.
But then eventually, when he was about to come back, the pandemic hit, so he had to basically wait to come back. And then once New Japan Strong started, he was able to come back. He became Hikuleo. He did really well in New Japan Strong. He nearly won the Super J Cup or whatever that was that they did on New Japan Strong, but he didn't win it. He challenged
Super
for
J
the
Cup is for Super Juniors. I don't think Hikuleo's a Super Junior.
No, they called it like it was the Strong Cup. That's what I was thinking of.
Strong Cup, yes. Strong
and
Cup
then,
makes more sense, yes.
And then, he challenged for the New Japan Strong Never Overweight Championship, but he never really won the title. He wasn't very successful in his quest for the belt. He showed up in AEW a few times and challenged for, I think it was the TNT title or the world title. I forget which title it was, but
I think it was a TNT because I don't think that they would give him the.
No, it was the U.S. title he actually challenged for, not even the TNT title.
Damn, never mind. We're both wrong.
I know. I was just thinking
It was for a New Japan title all along.
Yeah.
And again, he got injured again, and you won't believe the person who did it.
Lance Archer.
Oh no! It was Masahiro.
I hate this.
Oh, he's everywhere, but we just never see him. He's so fucking sneaky. Sneaky Japanese. They're always around.
And then, Hikuleo basically turned babyface and left Bullet Club and joined the Gorillas of Destiny. He won the New Japan Strong title and he lost it in a shitty match with Kenta. And then that was it. I don't know what to. He's just kind of chilling right now. He's done a few Impact appearances and he's challenged for the tag titles, but he didn't win any of those.
Let's be honest, though, showing up on Impact, in the famous words of Mr. fucking LA Knight, free viewers. So it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then as for Manabu Nakaashini, however you say his name,
you just call him Manbu. It's fine.
He basically just has done part-time appearances. He had some spinal injuries, so he ended up kind of having to retire. And then eventually, he just kind of did some pre-show. He did.
I swear to God, Mike, he didn't. It's not because of Chono. Fuck off.
I think
that was Kenta Kobashi. What are you, crazy?
I think the spine injuries was before Chono could have even gotten to him.
Chono's everywhere, bro.
He could time travel.
He tagged out.
And then eventually,
shut up. With the fucking burning hammer.
Yeah, eventually he retired, and then he just kind of he's just a trainer now and just kind of hangs out. So that's good.
Good for him.
And then Satoshi Kojima is still going strong. He's done various shows in New Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. He's done a couple of AEW appearances that were very good, and he showed up on Impact a few times. So he's basically a freelancer. I know that's not the name of it, but that's what I'm calling it. I think he's going on excursion pretty much. That's what I was thinking of. Taka Michinoku pretty much has legend. The same. Yeah, he's a legend. he did a few more matches with Suzuki-gun. He tried to challenge for the Never Openweight 6-man tag titles, but he was never successful in those challenges. And then once Suzuki-gun ended, he became a part of Just 5 Guys. So there you go.
Burgers and fries, baby. Burgers and fries.
Yeah. And then Tiger Mask appeared, he's done everything. I don't know which version of Tiger Mask this is because I know there's like multiple. Yeah. But
if it's 2017, it would have been W because the anime would have been going on.
Okay. Tiger Mask has done a few things. He's had very good appearances in the Super J Cup and the Best of the Super Juniors. He did really well in those appearances. Him and Robbie Eagles, not Robin Eagles, won the junior heavyweight tag titles once, and then they lost them, and then he's just kind of wrestling at the moment.
I saw him at a kid's birthday party once. It was crazy.
And then, you did?
No.
Oh, I wish you did. That would have been awesome.
That would have been fucking crazy. It's like, what are you doing here?
And then Tahoe
Kenny Omega. Must be Kenny Omega.
Tahoe Inoue became like a young lion. He was still kind of making a name for himself. He mainly made his name known in the UK because that's where he's from. So he was kind of mainly doing that. He would do New Japan appearances every once in a while. Then he got injured. And we know how, Mike. So there you go. And then eventually when he came back,
I'm unaware. Do you mind telling me?
It was a Chono, man. Chono he's everywhere.
He's fucking everywhere. The sneaky Japanese. He's fucking everywhere.
And James, we can't hear you.
It's not Chono. Stop it.
Oh, bro, surprise Chono.
It's not surprise Chono.
Oh, surprise Chono.
And then eventually, when he came back, he joined United Empire, and he hasn't done all that much as a part of United Empire. He had like a critically acclaimed match for the KOPW Championship against Shingo Takagi, and then he's been just kind of building off that legacy at the moment.
How many goddamn titles does New Japan have now? Jesus.
Yeah, they have a lot of championships.
It's too many.
Yoshihashi eventually, he did the New Japan Cup and the G1 Climax and did pretty well in those. Not great, but he did pretty well. And then he joined Chaos. I think he already was in Chaos by this point, but he became a main fixture in Chaos once certain people started leaving Chaos and all that type of stuff.
Everybody left Chaos, including Will Ospreay.
Yeah, then he's won the Never Openweight 6-man belts a couple of times, and eventually he formed a tag team with Hiroki Goto, known as Bishamon, and they won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Titles twice, and they won the Strong belts. They hold both those belts at one point, but I think they lost the Strong belts like at Independence Day recently. So there you go.
Nice.
And then Katamura is still he continued in Suzuki-gun. He won the junior heavyweight tag titles with El Desperado a few times, and then eventually he tried to challenge for the Never Openweight 6-man belts, but he never won any of those championships. And then eventually he developed a gimmick where he just drank alcohol and had some type of match with Toriano, where they had some type of match where like you had to take a shot of alcohol after every minute or so. So that was it. That was interesting. And then eventually he joined Just 5 Guys once Suzuki-gun.
Oh, another guy who joins the Burgers and Fries Club. Yeah.
And then
how many guys is that so far? Hopefully 5.
I hope so. And then Yuji Nagata continued to just make a name for himself in the business. Well, he was already a name, but he made more of a name for himself in the business. And he just became a veteran, just kind of became a trainer. But he's done a few tag matches here and there. The biggest thing he did was he showed up on AEW and challenged for the IWGP United States title. That was kind of the first big match where the IWGP US Championship was defended on Dynamite and any AEW programming. And then eventually, he kind of just did his thing. And he's still wrestling, but he doesn't do like anything big. He's just kind of helping train that next generation and all that type of stuff.
Yes,
yes,
he is.
Yorojo Takahashi continued. He was in Bullet Club at this time. He continued to make a name for himself And then eventually, he is still in Bullet Club, but he's in House of Torture, which is like a sub faction of Bullet Club, and it just sucks. So there you go.
I agree.
He doesn't suck, but that faction sucks. And I'm afraid. What am I looking at here, Mike? Is this?
Looking at what?
You just sent a
God
message.
damn it,
so,
Mike. Yes, and we get it. Chono is
Yeah.
Oh, he's here? Shit, we gotta go.
fucking...
He's invaded our laptops and Discord. So, James, how
Nice.
long did it take? That's all, basically the career retrospectives. How long did it take me to do that? It took
An
a while.
hour.
Yeah, so I told you, it's what happens when it's a Rumble. You got to do all that stuff. So, then we had the actual show itself. We had the first match on the show. It was the junior IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Title match. It was Roppongi 3K with Rocky Romero inside defending the belts against the Young Bucks. The reason for this
even
match,
before that, the promo package for this event was fucking hype as hell, by the way.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's great. I just want to point that out there before we get into the match.
yeah, it just kind of breaks down all the match cards, but they do it in really great ways, which is just awesome. We should say the commentary for this show was awesome. I think this is the best I've ever heard Don Callis and Kevin Kelly on commentary. I mean, it's really tough because, you know, I know a lot of people. I think some people love Kevin Kelly or they hate him. I think Kevin Kelly, this is the best commentary work I've ever heard him do with Don Callis. This was the best I've ever heard. Which
yeah,
this is like
that's what for miles.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I know he has done some good work in AEW, but I'm saying when he has to actually call the match and like be like an actual commentator type of thing, this is I think the best work that they have. They have really good back and forth. I think too why I haven't been into Kevin Kelly is the past other than Collision, the past few times I had heard him in New Japan was he was on there via Zoom call, so obviously it was off at the time and all that type of stuff. So he didn't sound very energized when he was doing it via Zoom call.
I mean, honestly, would you?
No, because I hate Zoom. It sucks. So,
Yeah.
But anyhow, how did you feel? How did you like the
Sponsored by
commentary?
Zoom.
Huh?
Sponsored by Zoom.
No.
On Discord. How did you feel about the commentary team, Mike?
To
Did
be
you like the
honest,
commentary team?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, they do a good job. They
They do a
really
very good job. They are fucking. They're a group of dudes. I'll tell you that much. Because my God, I've never seen two men selfie so often.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah, I think I wish they kind of kept this dynamic. I mean, I know they did for a while, but eventually, because Don Callis would become the EVP of Impact, he had to kind of, you know, focus most of his time there, type of thing. So that's why they kind of
until he wanted to be at AEW and was like, I'm done with Impact. I get more money here.
Impact. I did what I could, but I
Yeah.
cannot fix what is eternally broken.
I mean, I think he did though, but you know, that's
He tried.
I mean, it's better than it was. I'll put it. He definitely at least had it stable.
Oh,
Yeah, but-
I'll agree with that, but it's still you're trying to put duct tape on a fucking rubber house.
But yeah, going through the opening match here for the junior heavyweight tag team titles. This match was just fantastic. The reason for the match was Roppongi 3K were really, you know, making a name for themselves. They were putting on some really incredible matches for the belts. I think they won the Super J, not like junior tag tournament, and the Young Bucks came out and challenged them for the, you know, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions because they talked about how they never won the Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles at a Wrestle Kingdom. They've always been in the matches, and either they've retained the belts or they just didn't win them when they were the challengers, but they never actually won the belts at Wrestle Kingdom. So they wanted to finally achieve that goal. And this is when the Young Bucks at the time, obviously pre-AEW, this might have been the best run of the Young Bucks. This is when at the time, this was like when they were holding every belt in every company that they could get. They were at one point they were like the ROH tag champs. I think they were junior heavyweight tag champs, and they were like some other. I think they were.
They would go on to win the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Championships the year after this, or during this same year, I think.
That.
Yeah.
But
No, I think definitely during 2018.
Yeah, but like the Young Bucks were just on fire at this time. And yeah, they just wanted to be like one of the best tag teams. So
you know, Masahiro Chono set them on fire. Sorry.
But yeah, they
you get around, bro.
But they wanted to, you know, set this up, and this sets this up very nicely. The Young Bucks, they embrace the fact that they're going to be the heels here. They're definitely the heels, and they just embrace it. They're very cocky.
I don't
heels.
know. I don't really get that vibe, and maybe that's just me.
I thought they kind of were being heels just because they came out very cocky.
They're going in heel-ish, but they immediately go for face-like gimmicks.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
I mean, they definitely do heel tactics for sure.
Heel tactics, but they keep going for face-like big pop moves.
All I know,
the crowd and
this is just a long-standing rivalry the Young Bucks have always had with fucking Rocky Romero for some damn reason. They'd never liked him.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
They just don't like Rocky Romero. They're like, "Fuck you, dude."
Yeah, pretty much. But then, Roppongi 3K come out. They have a really good entrance here where Rocky Romero has like what's meant to be like an oxygen tank. And he just shoots it into the crowd type of thing. Kind of like what you would see in Ghostbusters type of thing, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't get this gimmick.
Didn't either, but it was.
I don't know what it's supposed to be or why he's doing it. I'm just like, just fuck it. He's the machine.
Yeah, I remember the Elite do this on Dynamite. That made sense because it was a rib and it was a Halloween episode. So it was.
Yeah, but it's one of those like, unless you know, you know. But
Yeah.
it comes off very like, I just really wanted to come up with an air cannon and blast the crowd. It's like, okay, man,
Yeah,
we're gonna get you going.
We had the match. We should mention because it's a Japanese crowd. Obviously, they take this as a legitimate sport. Like that's how they treat it. So they're very respectful. They don't make a lot of noise. They will make noise, and boy, when they make noise, it's either they really hate something or they really love something. So we're gonna be talking about that. And yeah, the match starts. The Young Bucks attack Roppongi 3K as they're trying to get their jackets off and all that type of stuff. And as they do the introductions, they beat the crap out of Yo, and they really dominate him for a bit. But then eventually Roppongi 3K started to mount a comeback. They both hit flip dives outside the ring. And I think it's Yo. He smacks his back right onto the entrance ramp. And this entrance ramp, it was like the corner of the entrance ramp. And it's like hard as a rock. Like,
well, actually, so Mike pointed this out when I was watching it because it looked like it hurt, but it's actually there is a little bit of give to it because there is a spring, and you could tell there's a spring in it.
Okay,
yeah,
I'll have him explain.
It still probably sucked.
Yeah, I'll have him explain when he comes back, so that way he can have his moment to shine there. And then eventually the Young Bucks notice this. They use this opportunity to get the heat. They hit a kick to the back, and they hit a what's it called? A Rolling Thunder like power bomb. I can't think of the name of it at the moment, but
the Rolling Thunder bomb.
Yeah,
or something like that. I don't know.
But yeah, they hit that on the floor to both members, and obviously because one of them just hurt his back, it didn't feel great. Then they just beat, like you said, they hate Rocky Romero. They beat the crap out of him. They super kick him. They pile drive him onto the entrance ramp, and he's out of effect pretty much for the rest of the match, which I thought, made all the sense in the world, take out the manager type of thing, and I thought it was a clever way to get heat on them, even though they had the face manager. And then the Young Bucks, they destroyed the back of Yo. They dominated him. They hit a really good neck breaker across their knee. So it's like a neck breaker, back breaker combo. And then eventually, Matt Jackson, he tries to charge at Yo in the corner. And Yo hits a back suplex and sends Matt Jackson out on the outside. And he smashes his back on the floor. And basically, I like what New Japan did here. They basically gave both teammates a handicap where one member of each team had an injury throughout the rest of the match, which I thought was very clever. Not really something you've really seen before. Typically, it's either one or the other has the handicap. But this time, both of them had the handicap.
I do like that part of the storytelling as well. That was really well done by both teams.
Yeah. And Nick Jackson still is able to get the heat, but he realizes that Matt Jackson is just in bad shape, so he kind of has to take over the match himself. And, do some things, but Matt Jackson's still able to hit things, and he sells his back really well. Like there's that one point where he hits where Matt Jackson hits a backbreaker, and he doesn't have like a lot of oomph in the backbreaker, so Nick Jackson has to do the backbreaker, and he really like puts a lot of oomph into it. So I thought that really showed like how damaged Matt Jackson's back was during this match. Then eventually, Show gets the hot tag, and he goes off on Matt Jackson, just hits a lot of really cool drop kicks and dives onto him. Eventually, the match just starts breaking down into chaos. The Young Bucks, at one point, I think it's Matt Jackson, locks in Show into a sharpshooter. No, it would be Yo into a sharpshooter, and Yo locks in Nick into another one, and they're standing like face to face with each other. And they're like slapping each other in the face at the same time, which I thought was just an awesome spot. At one point, Matt has a submission onto Show, and then Yo puts a submission in on Nick Jackson, and Matt has to break up his submission because he realizes that Show's submission is going to be the most effective submission, so he has to break it up, which I thought was a really good story there. There's another story beat, where the Young Bucks hit a flip dive, and Matt Jackson, he struggles to do it at first. They build up to this for a while, and then eventually he finally does do it, but it just destroys his back, which was awesome. There's a double superplex spot, and there's a great spot right here where they do the typical brawling spot where they try to get the crowd into it, and then eventually it's Nick Jackson and Show doing this, and they see the partners are laid out, and Nick Jackson kicks the back of a Show, and obviously this is the injured back, and then Yo kicks the back of Matt Jackson, and they go back and forth with this for probably about like a minute and a half, and then eventually I think eventually Nick Jackson gets sick of it. He just takes a cheap shot and hits a vicious kick to the head onto.
Yeah, he did. He stiffed the shit out of him. He Yakuza kicked him. He took a best of here.
But I like this. I like this spot right here. And I think I've made this critique before that they did this during the Lucha Bros match. Like, why are you helping hurt each other's partners? I actually thought they actually made a lot of sense out of this type of thing, where it's like they want to hurt each other type of thing. It's like they're trying to get each other to verbally submit and all that. That was great. And then, eventually Matt Jackson gets locked into various submission moves throughout this match that affect his back. He gets locked into a Boston Crab. He gets locked into a sharpshooter. He really had to sell that. The Young Bucks, this is at the time when, if you remember, they were being very heavily criticized for having nothing but super kicks. They don't do any super kicks, I think, till about like 20 minutes maybe into the match. Like, I think it's a long time. They don't
it just comes down to a lot of people just like to criticize for the sake of criticizing, and then they don't actually fucking give them the benefit of the doubt.
But I thought here, like, the super kicks made sense when they did them, and they built up to them very well. And I think there's one point Matt tries to go for a super kick, but his back gives out, so he can't even do the super kick. And then when he's able to, like, muster in just enough offense and finally hit a super kick. So, it's really great stuff. Eventually, though, the Young Bucks hit the Meltzer driver, and they lock in the sharpshooter, Matt Jackson, onto Show. And Show has no choice but to tap out because his back has just taken so much damage by this point. He has been in so many submission moves that he has to tap out. And he didn't, tap out right away. I took him, a few minutes to tap out, but it was pretty much... It was quick enough where he realized that if I didn't tap out here, my back's going to get destroyed. But it wasn't like, I'm a bitch type of I'm going to tap out.
No, they put him over strong, even though they were the ones that took the loss. This is a great fucking opener, by the way. Holy shit,
I thought this match was absolutely awesome. I give it 4.5 stars. I feel like to the things we don't talk about, the facial expressions that Matt Jackson was making too with his back too, just... absolutely awesome stuff. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was a great match. Right?
No, but the Young Bucks can never sell ever. Remember that, guys.
By the way, 2 times in the span of a year we've done 2 retros here. They sell here and they sell at Full Gear 2019. I think it's Matt Isn't it Matt Jackson too that does the selling at Full Gear 2019?
Yes, he does. Too? Yes.
So, yeah.
But they
this is
can't
just
sell,
great stuff.
guys. They can't sell.
What did you think of this match overall, and everything like that?
Mike, obviously, is who you're asking, or are you?
I'm asking. Well, I'm asking you because
Oh, okay.
you know, I don't know if Mike's back yet.
Well, why did Mike just leave? Damn.
Yeah, he had to step away for a second.
Okay, yeah. I think the match was great. I thought fucking this is the best way you could have opened up the show possible. I thought it was just way better. I thought it was way better than a lot of Young Bucks matches, especially recently. I think that when they can tell a story. When they need to, they can tell a story. And I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions with the Bucks. I think the idea that, they're just spot monkeys is like, how many spot monkeys have we had in pro wrestling before the Young Bucks, and now all of a sudden we're giving them shit for it?
Yeah. The Young Bucks have talked about this too. The reason why they had to do this style is because they did that style once at an indie show. Every promoter that booked them wanted that style. That's why they do these big spots, because it was basically that's how they got booked, type of thing. So they had to do those high spots, so else they weren't going to get booked. So, and New Japan, you know, here they didn't have to do the high spots. So,
yeah, they actually could tell a good fucking story. You know, I remember when they were in TNA, they could tell a great story with Motor City. You know,
yeah,
and even then, like, you know, Young Bucks were Motor City. Like, a lot of people are like, well, Motor City, you know, they could tell a story. Motor City Machine Guns were the biggest spot monkeys in wrestling, period. And they also told stories, and nobody ever gave them shit. You know, it's just...
It's just, I feel like it was the time... It's probably the time they came in, they weren't seeing a lot of that stuff. And now, the Young Bucks, they were starting to see that stuff, like when that stuff, I guess, to the wrestling fans wasn't cool anymore. So I guess that's... I mean, I think it's cool type of thing. I'm just trying to see what their perspective was on that type of thing. So
right, no, that's fair, yeah.
It's just, you know, it's if you probably took the Young Bucks in the Motor Cities era and picked Motor Cities and Young Bucks era, they probably would have been, you know, the opposite type of thing. So
that is true. That is fair, yeah.
But anyhow, I'll just do the career retrospectives while I give Mike a chance to come back on here.
If he's not here, I gotta pause. That's kind of the rule we already set.
Yeah, but I'll just do the career retrospectives so that way, in case you know, he can't come back right away. We've done the Young Bucks before, so we don't need to do them again. Roppongi 3K. Eventually, they would have a rematch at one of the New Beginning and Sporo episodes, and they would win the belts back, and then. Yeah, eventually they had really good ones with the junior heavyweight tag titles. I think they won the belts like 3 times. They've competed in the Super J Cup and the Super Juniors. Eventually, I think Sho went down due to an injury at one point, so Yo had to be a singles guy for a little bit. And then when Sho came back, they reformed their tag team, and eventually they broke up. Sho turned heel during the, I think it was one of the, it was the G1 Climax or Super Juniors tag tournament. And he joined House of Torture. They had really great matches, and then eventually he himself won the Never Openweight tag titles as a member of the House of Torture.
Yeah. What happened? Okay, give me 1 second, Nolan. I'm gonna have to pause here. So iPhone sucks yet again. Where I'm pausing here, I'm just gonna rant on iPhone. My dad had a perfectly working iPhone, and then it fucking decided to stop working on him out of nowhere. So it's chaos right now.
Family curse.
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna eat on the air now because that fucking all happened, and I haven't been able.
So
to get
you're
a hold
gonna
of him
punish the audience?
I will suggest if you're gonna eat, mute your mic while you're chewing because you're chewing really loud. I can hear it.
I don't give a shit. That's my point. They can deal with it. I'm not fucking adjusting my shit for nobody. I'm sorry.
You're gonna punish the audience for your fucking.
I'm not punishing the audience. I'm telling them to deal with it because it's life. That's what I'm telling them. So.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay.
So continuing, I'll let you give your thoughts on the mic after I finish the Roppongi 3K. I'm almost done pretty much. So yeah, Yo would win the belts, the Never Openweight 6-man tag titles, with as a member of House of Torture. And And then eventually they lost the belts. I think they lost the belt to like Bullet Club, and then eventually I think he's just kind of doing his thing in House of Torture, as well as he's just kind of doing not in House of Torture, but he's just kind of doing his own thing. Just being I think he teamed up with Leo Rush, and they won like the Super J tag tournament. They tried to challenge for the belts, but they didn't win them. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, by the way, is the House of Torture still a part of Bullet Club or what?
I think it
I
is.
don't-
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
They never do anything together, so I don't think
They
so.
never really bring it up in any capacity or way.
Oh well. Okay.
But anyhow, so Mike, you weren't here when we broke down the match and stuff, but overall, what did you think of the match? And a big thing that James and I talked about was
It's fine. Though the flow is kind of fucking weird. I give it like a 2.5.
that's fine.
I think like the general flow of how the match kind of goes through is this is a Young Bucks match. You are watching a Young Bucks match, which is fine, but it's fucking weird because like they're supposed to be fucking heel in the matter, but they're not really wrestling.
I think they're wrestling more baby faces, but like
which
both
is
teams
very
are.
strange.
Both teams
which
are.
is very strange.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, I think James and I gave it like 4.5, as you see. But everybody's got different styles of what they like and all that type of stuff, and that's completely fine.
Oh no, I
everyone's-
like the style. It's just it's very confusing to have a heel team wrestle like baby.
Yeah, that's
Like
fair.
I don't know. It's very weird, like because they're not coming off as heel. Like just the general flow of how they're doing things doesn't come off as heel. But I could be wrong. Maybe there's somebody that's a million IQ that can tell me I'm wrong, which is fine.
I think they will build into them turning babyface because they do have babyface later in the year. Anyways,
But the Bucks have always wrestled like fucking babyfaces.
yeah, they have. Yeah, so yeah, I guess it's kind of one of those things. I feel like the Young Bucks never really learned how to wrestle heel. So
Oh, you can stop. The Bucks never learned how to wrestle, and I think there's a huge chunk of the IWC that would have been like, "You're fucking right, they don't," and they all go, "Uh huh." All right, boys.
Yeah.
But anyhow-
don't go like your pussy. It's okay.
going on to the next match, we had a gauntlet match for the never open weight 6-man tag team titles.
I never get.
The teams-
by the way, I give it a 4 star. Also, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you did give your rating, but maybe you didn't get a chance because then.
No, because fucking chaos happened the minute I was about to.
Speaking of that, one of the teams in this match is Chaos, represented by Beretta, Tomo, Ishii, and Toriano. The other teams in this match were the champions who were defending their titles, Bullet Club, which representing them were Bad Luck Fale,
Just
the
call
Gorillas
it
of Destiny.
It's the Gorillas of Destiny. They're all 3 of them are the Gorillas of Destiny. Let's make it easier on ourselves.
There you go. And then we had
very big destiny.
Mm-hmm.
they are. And then we had the other team, 2 more teams in this match. First was War Machine and Michael Elgin, and then the other team was they were representing Suzuki Gun. It was Taichi, Takashi, I think that's an L, Lazuka, and Zack Sabre Jr. It's tough to tell if it's an L because it's like capitalized and there's no tail, so you can't tell if it's an L. So I don't know.
All right, let me look this up. Wrestle Kingdom 12 card.
Oh, it's an I. It's an I. So it's Azuka. It's an I.
I'm looking it
Double
up.
I.
I'm looking it up. You've had your chance. I'm looking it up.
You have your chihuahua.
I'm looking it up. Okay. It is.
It's an I. It's 2 I's.
Is it I? 2 eyes?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah. Just Takashi. Just go with Takashi.
And then they were accompanied by.
Izuka. It's Izuka, I think.
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay, yeah.
They were accompanied by El Desperado, Taka Michinoku, and Yoshibu Kanamura.
Big boy Taka, by the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the last team in the match representing Taguchi Japan, it was Juice Robinson, Ryozaki Taguchi, and Togi Makabe. So, yeah, a lot of teams in this match right here. I like the fact that they did this gauntlet match. It was, I thought, a clever match right here. The first team that starts the match is Michael Elgin and War Machine and Suzuki Gun. And Taguchi I think he's strapped to like what's meant to be like it's not like a leash, but it's not a leash. It's like I don't even know what you call this thing, but like they're trying to basically restrain him type of thing because he's he's a loose cannon type of thing. He would just go off, so they try to like hold him in place type of thing. It's one of those leashes you see like a dog catcher grab when they want to catch a dog type of thing. So that's what I would refer to.
He got the dog in him.
And I thought the opening sequences of this match was very well done. It was just everybody just kind of getting into a fight right here. I think a lot of people criticized Michael Elgin being on this show because I'm pretty sure something bad came out about him right before this show, but they still booked him on the show anyway. So New Japan got some shit for it. I don't remember what it was, but I definitely remember something came out about Michael Elgin like right before Wrestle Kingdom, and they still booked him anyway. So yeah, it's what it is. But Suzuki-gun dominate early. They get the heat on Hansen for a while. I have to get used to calling them these names because I've been so used to calling them the other names that you gotta go back to that. And then when I go to call them the other names later on, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, they dominate him for a while. They beat the crap out of him. They get the heat, and then eventually, War Machine, Raymond Rowe gets the hot tag, and War Machine basically hit all the big moves. They hit a really good double team pop up power slam, which was awesome. But eventually, Zack Sabre Jr. locks in a triangle choke onto Raymond Rowe. And it looks like he's going to fight out of it, but he doesn't. He ends up passing out. And this is after there was a lot of interference here. But I still like the fact that I think because he made him pass out, it didn't. It actually still made Zack Sabre Jr. look really strong there. So I thought that was good. I liked that elimination right there. I thought that match was fairly good. And, I like the fact, that Raymond Rowe didn't look weak by just passing out type of thing. Then the next team to come into the match was Chaos, and they basically become the Iron Men here. Suzuki-gun attack him on the ramp. This was Beretta's first match as a heavyweight. He just graduated from the junior heavyweights to the heavyweights, so this was his first match in the heavyweights. And there's a big brawl that happens. Eventually, Toriano rolls up Taichi, and he gets an elimination out of nowhere. I thought that was fine. I thought that made a lot of sense. It made it look like that. He just got cut lucky right there. And then it's Taguchi Japan. They looked really good in this match. They dominate most of it. And then eventually Toriano hits an out-of-nowhere backslide onto Waizaki. And he's really upset about this. Waizaki had some really good hip attacks here, too. He hits a really good one off of the second turnbuckle. That was awesome. And then eventually it's Bullet Club's turn to come in. They beat up Chaos. They destroy them. They destroy Toriano. And Tomo Ishii, at first tried to hit a suplex on Bad Luck Fale, and he struggles at first, but then eventually he's able to hit it on him. But it doesn't put down Bad Luck Fale for long. He lays out both Beretta and Ishii with a double clothesline. And then eventually, after the match has gone on for a while, Beretta hits a dude buster onto I believe it's Tongaloa for the win, and they become the new never open weight 6-man World Tag Team Champions. I like this match a lot. I liked how every match felt different. I thought everybody had their working boots on for this match, even people like Toriano and Bad Luck Fale, and they utilized them in ways that I thought played to their strength. They didn't put them in positions that they were made to fail. So I liked this. I thought the best team in the match probably was, even though they're not in, but Suzuki-gun, especially with the way Zack Sabre Jr. eliminated Raymond Rowe. But I would give this match like 4 stars. I thought this match was great stuff, and I thought it was fun. Very well.
Yeah, it was fun. 4 stars.
I thought
it was enjoyable.
I thought it was the best way to do a gauntlet match too, where they had to rush through the matches, but they did it in logical ways where like it didn't make anybody look bad. Because I remember when WWE would structure gauntlet matches, especially the tag team tournament match, they would do quick matches where it doesn't make sense. I thought here it made sense. But Mike, what did you think of this match and all that type of stuff?
I'll be honest, I think this is the one match that I'm like, you could have cut from the card and wouldn't have like changed the show.
Yeah, probably not. But
I'll be honest. This was the match that I'm like, we could have cut this for time, and put some time to other matches that could have used a little extra.
No, I think every match, even before this, had the proper amount of time. I don't think you needed to necessarily extend the time.
I'll say the time for each match is the Rumble was 32 minutes and 6 seconds. The Junior Tag match was 18 minutes and 49 seconds, and this match was 17 minutes and 3 seconds. And I'll say the rest of
it's a fast match, but if I was to like choose out of all the matches on the card, I'd be okay with cutting this one out because it doesn't really impact the show in any positive or negative way. It's just kind of a filler, like in between match.
It's kind of like one of those matches that they wanted to get people on the show type of thing.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like. And that's fine. That's what the Rumble was for anyway, but that's fine. It's just for me personally, I'm like, you could cut this and then nobody would have been like, yeah,
it is what it is. Like, it didn't hurt the show, though. I enjoyed it.
No, agreed. I completely agree with that. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just you could have cut this and it wouldn't have changed anything.
Yeah, especially too, well, with your star rating before I say the career retrospectives, because it's kind of funny what happens the next night, actually.
Yeah.
But you're star rated?
Oh, I give it like a 3. It's fine.
But yeah, funny thing is, because you say they could have cut this, Bullet Club just get the belt back the next night anyway, so it's like,
they could have cut this and it wouldn't have mattered.
I think they wanted a feel-good moment for Toriano. That's all it was.
And I think they wanted to reward Beretta for...
Beretta specifically, yeah. I think he was really over around that time, yeah.
Yeah. I have to remember to just call him Beretta just because his first name's not a factor here. But yeah, let's go over some quick career retrospectives. We've done Beretta before.
I'll be right back. You continue with those career. I gotta take care of something.
Is it a good time for that? Yeah. Beretta, we've done him before. Go out to the WrestleMania 26 retro because he shows up there. Tomohiro Ishii would just be like a mainstay in New Japan. He's had really dominant runs. He's been never openweight 6-man tag champion. I think like 2 more times after this, and he's got the never openweight belt like twice. He had really dominant reigns with that. I believe he just had some really good standouts. He's made some appearances at Impact Wrestling where he challenged for various championships, but he never won any of them. But he had some really great matches there. In AEW, he's done some really great stuff. He was supposed to challenge for the All-Atlantic, or supposed to be in the first ever match where the All-Atlantic title was going to be crowned, but he ended up getting an injury and couldn't be in it. And now he's just like a mainstay in New Japan. He has really good moments where he just looks really dominant, just menacing. And he doesn't have a neck pretty much. I mean, that's the same, but he still doesn't have a neck. I don't think he's ever going to get a neck. So
he has to go into the Lost and Found. He'll find one there.
And then Toriano, is someone that's pretty over, not the best wrestler, but is very popular. He won the never openweight 6-man tag titles a few times. He challenged for the IWGP heavyweight tag titles, but never won them. He's had appearances in the New Japan Cup and the G1 Climax, but he didn't do very well in them. And then basically his big thing is that he's like one of the main focal points of the KOPW championship picture. I think he always either starts or ends the year at some point as the champion. He always gets that belt at some point. So there you go. As for Bad Luck Fale, he would continue to be like the heavy of Bullet Club. I'm pretty sure he got like a new thin in the Bullet Club. He was like the heavy, but then he got like a different thin for it, but he was kind of in the same role. And then eventually now he's just out of Bullet Club and just kind of doing his own thing. I don't really know what he's doing. So, and as for JOD, they would continue to be a tag team. They would win the tag team titles like 7 times. I think they had won the belts a few times, but they would become eventually 7-time IWGP tag team champions. They would have runs in Impact, but they never really won the titles or anything like that. And then eventually they were kicked out of Bullet Club. And eventually, I believe it's Tonga Loa. He got injured last year. He was out of action for a while, and Tama Tonga eventually had to go on his own as singles, and he actually won the never openweight championship at one point last year, but he lost it like fairly quickly. And then he had a really good performance in the G1 last year, and this year he also had a decent performance. And Tonga Loa came back in the G1, and he did fairly well in the G1. So Gorillas of Destiny have done some great things as a tag team, and it's very much rumored WWE has got their eyeballs on him. They're looking to sign them.
Uh-huh.
So we'll see.
We'll say.
Michael Elgin, we do fairly well in Japan. Eventually, he got signed to Impact Wrestling in 2019. He did very well there, but then the speaking out movement happened, and it blacklisted him.
He was spoken out against long before the speaking out movement. His allegations start back in late 2017.
That's what because I remember I mentioned those allegations. Is that what came out right before the show?
And that's why he was gone. That's why he was gone from New Japan after the show. Yeah.
But yeah,
the only reason they kept him is because they couldn't find a replacement last minute. Because they confirmed shit by that point. So dude, you could tell, by the way, in this match, War Machine did not want to work with Elgin at all. And it was very fucking obvious.
Which is odd, because they mentioned it on commentary, but they try to get like a storyline reason for it, but they actually mentioned it on commentary, which is just weird. But anyhow,
very weird.
Eventually, Michael Elgin made his way to Impact. The speaking out movements happened, and I guess that just brought to light the allegations even more. So he got fired from Impact, and he still wrestled in not New Japan, Pro Wrestling Noah for a little bit, but then he got arrested, and then he got right now he's out of action right now. So yeah, things aren't looking good for Michael Elgin in his future at the moment. So
nope, he is beyond gone. He can never wrestle again, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
And then War Machine got signed to WWE right after this match, pretty much. They made their debut in NXT as the War Raiders. They did really well in NXT. They won the tag team titles and were undefeated. And then they got called up to the main roster as NXT tag team champions. I know you want to rant about that, James, but you can rant about that in another video if you want. And then they got called up to the main roster as the Viking Experience, where the names became Ivar and Eric. And then they had a tough start in the beginning, but then eventually they started to find their footing on Raw. They won the Raw tag team titles, and they had a pretty dominant reign with the belts, and then they lost them randomly for no reason. And then the pandemic happened, and they basically became a comedy act for a while. And then Ivar got injured, so Eric had to wrestle on his own. And then they just didn't book him anymore. And then eventually when Ivar came back, the Viking Raiders challenge for the tag titles, I think they became the Viking Raiders. I don't think I mentioned that. Basically, there was enough backlash in it where they relented and turned them into the Viking Raiders. But Vince still got his way because their tag finish now is the Viking Experience. So Vince still kind of got his way in the end type of thing. They have had a couple of stop purchases due to just not being booked very well with injuries, and now they're basically like actual Vikings, pretty much. That's how they act now, pretty much, and they're a pretty heel tag team, and they're finally being booked well, but it's just kind of the thing that damage has been done. It's like Triple H is trying to make the positives of what made the Viking Raiders work in NXT, but he wants to keep like the gimmick of them being Vikings type of thing. So he's doing with what he can. I think they're being booked fairly well right now, but it's kind of just the damage has been done.
I think most of these people that have been damaged by Vince would just be better off going to the Indies and not dealing with it anymore. That's just me.
It's to the point now, actually, where a lot of people make videos where they mention that the War Machine would be better fits in the new generation era just because of their gimmick. But I feel like if you go watch the show, that couldn't be any further from the truth.
No, it's beyond the truth. Yeah, I mean they were good, they were fine, they weren't broken. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Vince just saw them as broken goods because he wanted it in his image, and then it just completely fucked them.
I mean, originally Triple H changed the name anyways because I think War Machine wasn't going to translate because he can't use that on TV, so that's why he made him.
By the way, no, yes, he can. That's also bullshit. He can use them on TV. They just don't want to because Vince has this really weird ass fucking thing where ever since 9/11 he wanted to stop using war in anything.
Okay.
Which I think is so ridiculous, but. That's why Raw's War got changed back to Raw.
But they also talked about the War Machine on their YouTube channel. He didn't like that tag team name. They wanted to be the Viking Raiders originally, but then You know, they were War Raiders. They were fine with that name, but Viking Experience they didn't like, and then they got the name they wanted anyways. So
Yeah,
it's kinda weird.
and then Vince fucked it up anyway.
Yeah, so it's about how that happens. As for Suzuki-gun, Taichi has been a decent name in the mid card and all that type of stuff. He's done okay. He has a gimmick now where like he's supposed to be singing his theme song, but like he's really not. It's a good song. It's just what it is. And he's won the I think he's challenged for the KOPW title a few times, and yeah, that's kind of it. He formed him and Zack Sabre Jr. formed I think it's Al Dragon as Techers. I probably have that name wrong, but they did really well as that tag team, and they were like really good tag champions. And they just stopped teaming up because Zack Sabre Jr. went on and did his own thing. So there you go.
Yeah, he's
and then
the front runner of TMDK now.
Yeah, Takushi eventually retired shortly after this, after Suzuki-gun ended, and now he's just basically a trainer now and all that type of stuff. They did like a big retirement tour for him and everything, so that's cool. And then Zack Sabre Jr. really benefited from this. He did really well in New Japan Cups. He's won a few New Japan Cup tournaments. He did really well in the G1 Climaxes a few years. I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. was actually like a big star now at this point because if you remember, this was not long after the Cruiserweight Classic type of thing. So
he was a big star by this point. Like a lot of people knew who he was. I think a lot of people when they saw him in New Japan, because a lot of people paid for this for Jericho, but a lot of people raved about the Cruiserweight Classic by this point.
Yeah, so Zack Sabre Jr. did really well. He's won various tournaments. He's won various championships, whether that's the Rev Pro World title. He won that a few times. He's won the he's challenged for the KOPW title. He became the first ever New Japan TV champion. And then he's just doing really well. And he's working like all over the place too. He's working in ROH/AEW, and he's working in New Japan, and he's just putting on betas with that New Japan TV title and really making that a thing. So I don't know if he's lost the belt. I actually didn't even look that up, but I was just assuming he didn't.
I don't believe he's lost it yet, but it's apparently the idea is that he's going to eventually.
Yeah,
probably at Wrestle Kingdom, I would imagine.
I mean, James, that's kind of the case with everyone as a champion. They typically lose their belts eventually. So
yeah, I know, but I'm saying like the plan is Wrestle Kingdom, I think, for him.
And then as for Juice Robinson. Eventually did his own thing. He won the IWGP US title.
No, we don't need to do Juice. We've done Juice. We've absolutely done Juice before. I think during an NXT show we've done Juice.
Okay. The only thing new we could say about him then is
he's in AEW with Bullet Club Gold. So
yeah. And then Mizuki will go on to compete in the Super J Tag and Super Junior Cup. He would win the junior heavyweight tag titles a few times. Eventually, he became the 69th junior heavyweight tag champion, which is something he always wanted to be. Sorry. And then he's not really doing too much right now. He's just kind of wrestling here and there, and he's just doing his thing. And then Togi Makabe is basically just kind of wrestling part-time pretty much. He doesn't really do too much. So,
is that everybody?
That's everybody. Then we have the next match. It's Cody with Brandy Rhodes versus Kota Ibushi.
This is such a weird time capsule, by the way. Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I think Mike said, like, it's number one, it's weird not seeing him with that fucking neck tattoo.
Yep.
It's really fucking weird. But this is the first time, and he's full
heel. Even him being face or heel, it doesn't matter. It's just blonde Cody, no neck tattoo in Japan.
Yeah, and he
fucking weird.
And he debuted the blonde-haired gimmick here on the show. This was the show he debuted the new look. So it's just wild. It's such a. And
he was just the ROH World Champion too. This was booked to be the ROH World Title match, but Cody lost the belt like a few days. Before
to Dalton Castle at Final Battle. Yeah.
Yes. That's why the match, it's just a regular singles match. But I don't even think it needed the belt, so I think it actually helped the match type of thing because, it made the match a little bit more unpredictable of who's going to win. But, Cody was a red-hot heel in New Japan. He came in and became a part of Bullet Club, and he was just taking over the wrestling industry at this point with his ROH World title run and everything like that. And
in general, dude, he was fucking you couldn't go anywhere. Cody was doing something.
Yeah, and then Cody eventually shifted his focus to Kota Ibushi. They fought together in the New Japan World Tag League, and I believe Kota Ibushi's team defeated Cody's team, so it knocked him out of the tournament. So Cody was upset about this, and he crossroads Kota Ibushi on the floor, and he wanted to experience what it was like to face somebody like Kota Ibushi. He kind of wanted to see what the real New Japan style was like. He wanted to kind of, have like a dream match where it was American wrestling style versus New Japan style. But Cody was just being a complete douche about it type of thing, which is what makes it so great. And oh my gosh, the influences of like what you've seen with Cody, like what they done with AEW. This is when he debuted the ROH win that he had. He has this ROH win here, which becomes a big fixture that AEW would take eventually. It's just crazy. And then Kota Ibushi wanted to fight for the honor of New Japan. He was sick of seeing all of the outsiders come in and try to make a name off themselves, off the New Japan guys and all that type of stuff, or try to reestablish himself off of his name. And he talked about like how he was going to be the defender of New Japan and all that type of stuff. So it's just
big crusader boy.
Which is funny because he never really signed a new contract until before his final one with New Japan. And so the match starts. Cody and Brandy have really extravagant entrances, and they're just really healing it up here. Like they're just talking shit to the fans, talking shit to the people on camera. This is the shit that like I think AEW really missed the boat on, of like, and Cody, I should say as well, like not doing this heel gimmick because it would have gotten over huge for Cody in AEW. And Kota Ibushi comes out, and like I said, the crowd doesn't make a lot of noise because of the culture and everything like that. But boy, when Cody comes out, they make sure they let him know how they feel about him, and when Kota comes out, they make sure to let him know how they feel about him. That's just how they wanted to react to this match. And Cody has the ring get placed into like a box. He has Don Callis hold it because he doesn't trust Kevin Kelly to hold it. Because Don Callis, even though Don Callis is supportive of the heels, it's not egregious, but there are moments where he does support the heels, but it's not egregious either type of thing. So it's, good balance. The match doesn't really happen. Like they just kind of have like a little bit of a stare down before the match happens, which I always kind of like. And they do some good chain wrestling. And what I liked about this is it wasn't the typical format where like the face dominates in the beginning and then the heel dominates. Basically, anytime the match was worked to Kota's strengths, which would have been that New Japan Strong style, he took over. And when the match was like a traditional wrestling match, Cody was the one that took over. So they were just kind of feeling out each other's styles and all that type of stuff. Commentary does a really good job talking about it too, type of thing. But then they mentioned like Kota actually shows that he can work Cody's style if he really wants to and all that type of stuff. And it's just really great stuff. The match takes, though, a bad turn when Kota goes for a suicide dive on the outside, and Brandy inadvertently takes the blunt of the suicide dive. Brandy's just out at this point. Kevin Kelly and Don Callis do a great job really selling this, saying that, she could have gotten hurt. Kota Ibushi is checking on her, and Cody uses this as a distraction to, he attacks Kota from behind and he throws him into the barricade and then throws him into the post and throws him back in the ring. And you're meant to think, by the way, okay, Cody's just being a dick and thinking of himself before his wife, but they even make it better. Brandy smiles, gets to her feet, and we find out that it was a ruse. So she really wasn't even injured. And Kevin Kelly, there's not moments really, but Kevin Kelly supports the babyface. He's typically play-by-play all the time. The way that he reacts to this is just really awesome. Like how pissed that he is that this happened. And he's not even pissed that this happened. He's pissed that he bought in to this. And Don Callis is just ragging on him for buying into it and trying to defend the heels type of thing. And I think, James, you've mentioned this when we did the live reactions at the time, because this was big. This got over huge in Japan because, Japan, I think we said like, the best way to explain this is Japan, a very they respect the woman. I guess is what I'm trying to say. They treat them, very respectfully. That you don't really hurt a woman or anything like that.
And then
you don't,
and then she fucking feigned an injury to fucking piss off the crowd. Yeah,
Which is awesome.
And like
great heel.
The crowd, the crowd fucking goes ballistic. Like this
Booed
is
like crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made it very obvious they didn't like that.
And Cody just he just picks apart Kota Ibushi. He really works over his neck, and the commentators really did a good job reminding you about like Kota Ibushi's past neck injuries and all that type of stuff. He hits a disaster kick on Dakota, but he doesn't get the win. He hits a really good neck breakers followed by a suplex, which was awesome. Then eventually, behind the referee's back, Cody's just attacking him onto the apron, and he grabs a chair and he hits Kota like 3 times in the back of the neck with a chair. There's this one shot that you could just hear Cody just nearly take Kota Ibushi's head off with this chair. It's just absolutely insane. And he hits a reverse suplex, and then eventually Kota Ibushi finally mounts a comeback. He's just finally had enough, and he just hits really stiff strikes right onto Cody to the point where Cody has to like take a breather. And followed in this, he just hits the I believe it's called the 5-star triangle moonsault onto the outside onto Cody. And like the way that like Kota took this bump worse than Cody did. So like that just show you how much you wanted to hurt Cody right there. Then he gets into the ring, he hits a crossbody on Cody. Cody kicks out. He hits a vicious running knee strike on Cody, and just the strikes he was hitting on Cody here, which is absolutely vicious. He hits a spider German suplex onto Cody. Cody mounts a come down because I want to say comeback because he's the heel. He thumbs Kota Ibushi on the eye. He hits him with the crossroads, and Kota Ibushi kicks out. And the way that he kicks out here is really good because it's not like one of those kickouts where like it's very animated and all that type of stuff. Like he just barely gets his shoulder up here.
Yeah.
And I think we should just talk about. I like this show as a whole. I like this on the show as a whole. In New Japan, when someone kicks out of their finisher, they don't like. It's fine in WWE because it works for that audience and all that type of stuff. But they don't just go. They don't have like the facial reactions and that type of things. They look like exhausted when it happens, and they just do another move type of thing. They don't. They don't let it play out and all that type of stuff, which I think really benefits this show. Yeah. Cody hits a moonsault, but Kota Ibushi kicks out of it, and then Kota Ibushi hits a sit out. I think it's the 5-star power bomb.
Golden Star power bomb.
Golden Star powerbomb. And Cody just barely gets his shoulder up. Like he gets it out at like 2.9999, and then obviously that thing that you see on the numbers that just makes it continue forever type of thing. And then eventually there's a chair in the corner. Cody goes into the chair, and then Kota Ibushi hits the 5-star moonsault onto Cody. Covers Cody and gets the win.
5-star. It's a Phoenix Splash. They call it a Phoenix Splash, I think.
And that's like a move that Cody hadn't pulled out in like years, but he finally had to pull it out here. And Kota Ibushi wins the match, and he beats Cody. This match is absolutely tremendous. It really, translated really well. You could put this match honestly in any wrestling promotion, and it would really deliver. This match is 5 stars.
I agree. Awesome. I would give this the full 5. They fucking killed it. I mean, spot of the match was the fucking goddamn crossroads from the apron all the way to the floor, and the way Kota took this was disgusting.
Yeah,
oh
I don't think Kota really Kota Ibushi's selling here is just really like honestly you thought the guy could have died. That's how good his selling was.
Yeah, he's out of this world fucking talented, man. Like this is tremendous. 5 stars all day. The 2 killed it, and what a fucking weird ass match. Because you never would have thought that Cody and Kota would have ever happened in a million years, and it happened here. This is a first time ever matchup, I think, and instant chemistry between these two. Like,
I want to just talk about this like in general. Like, I think New Japan knew like the a lot of people are going to be tuning into the show. Everybody put their fucking working boots on in this show.
Oh yeah,
Even
Yeah,
Bad
yeah.
Luck Fale, even like people like Toriano, Bad Luck Fale put the fucking wicked boots on for the show. Like it's insane.
Yeah, no,
Like
they didn't fuck around, man. Nobody fucked around on this show. Period.
yeah,
They
and I think
they
too.
showed out.
Yeah, what did you think, Mike, of this match overall?
It's
and everything like that?
fantastic from start to finish. It's very good.
Would you give it a 5 or?
Yeah, well, I've already agreed with that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Good shit.
Yeah.
Overall, great match.
And we've done career retrospective on both the roads. As for Kota Ibushi, he would just continue to tear it up in New Japan. He would have really great performances in the G1s and the New Japan Cup. I think he
He finally won the IC and world titles, merged them into the world heavyweight title we know today. And which, God, fuck that belt. But still, awesome for Cody. Or Coda, excuse me. A lot of K's. A lot of K's and C's.
Coda E.
Coda E Abush Roads.
Not the Abush Roads.
Abush
in between
Roads.
all roads.
Yes.
And then
but he then won, and he was on a tear of a lifetime. He would defend the belt all the way up until that next year, I think. I think he lost it to.
What's his name? He lost it to Naito, and
then
he
lost it to Naito, and then Naito lost it to
Evil,
right? No,
yeah.
Was it Naito that lost it to Evil, or Naito lost it to Evil? It wasn't. Then, and then
big Evil.
Pandemic was weird, and then Evil lost it to Shingo. I think it was
Shingo Takagi.
No, it was back to Naito, then back to Okada, then Okada. At that year's Wrestle Kingdom, after that, he lost it to Will Ospreay. Then Ospreay got injured, and then they had the interim champion be Shingo Takagi. Or no, was it Shingo Takagi? Yeah, it was Shingo Takagi. Yeah.
I think he was legit champion though. I think Ospreay vacated. But anyhow, back to Coda.
He was still the champ apparently. I don't know what the fuck to deal with. I'm just gonna call it interim champion because it's easier in my head.
It's a bunch of stupid shit.
But yeah, Kota eventually, he was on the run of a lifetime in New Japan. Then eventually, we've mentioned it before. We won't mention it again. There was some issues that went down with Kota Ibushi and New Japan that Kota didn't want to be a part of anymore because New Japan he thought was, kind of stingy and stuff. We won't get into details.
Stingy and sexually assaulting.
So Kota basically.
That's what I was saying. It is Japan.
Yeah.
So Kota basically took a year and a half off of wrestling in general.
And then he showed back up at this year's Blood and Guts in AEW. So now he's an AEW wrestler. He's going to be showing up at All In a second.
I don't think he's signed to AEW, but he's just doing like handshake type of appearances type thing. So.
For now, he'll eventually join AEW. I think.
I think the odds are looking up more than the Elite we signed. I think he was kind of waiting to see how that was going to work out.
Right? Yeah.
Next match is the IWGP Tag Team Championship match. It's the Killer Elite Squad defending against Evil and Sonata. Ooh, this was awesome. I would say it's awesome. The reason for the match was Evil and Sonata won World Tag League, so they got a title shot here. They kind of threw together this match last minute, but the lucky thing is if you win World Tag League, it's enough of a storyline to add to it. The Killer Elite Squad was just on a tear at this time with those IWGP heavyweight tag team titles. So I thought that was really great stuff right there.
I think it was the longest reign up to that point of the IWGP tag titles, I think.
I think you're right, yeah. The match starts, and immediately the Killer Elite Squad just destroy Evil Sonata. They lay out Evil with their finish, and it looks like that they're just gonna win like right away, pretty much. And Sonata gets into the last possible minutes and breaks up the pinfall. And the Killer Elite Squad, they just destroy these dudes for a while. They they at one point they choke slam Sonata into like a bunch of young lions because they had young lions out there. I wonder if any of them became anything. We're not gonna do career detective on them because we didn't really hear my name or anything like that. And they're just destroying the young lions, and they're destroying Evil and Sonata at the same time. Sonata eventually gets the heat, and Evil's out for a while. And he does everything that he can to try to get the offense in, but it's just not happening. These two dudes are just destroying them. They hit the heart attack at one point on Sonata, and he just barely kicks out of it. And then eventually Sonata gets the hot tag on Evil, and he gets a little bit of offense in, but he's still like worn down from like getting hit with the finisher earlier. They just kind of beat him up some more, and eventually the match just breaks down in all types of chaos, and eventually Evil and Sonata hit. I believe it's called "This Is Evil" on David Hart Smith.
Well, I mean,
Boy
it was
Smith.
just a
David
fucking.
Boy.
It was just basically a magic killer, but yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Sorry, no, David Boy Smith, not David Hart Smith. Messed up the name there. They get the win. Davey Boy Smith Jr. paid tribute to his dad because he was wrestling in the same attire that his dad wrestled in, like at the end of his WWF one with the jeans and everything like that. So that was cool. This match was great. I really like this. I like the fact that they structured the match this way because they realized the crowd was going to be. I shouldn't say dead because it's a New Japan crowd, but they realized that the fans at home and stuff like we're going to need a pick me up after that Kota Cody match, or Kota Ibushi Cody match. So they realized that booking the match this way, I think made all the sense in the world, and it made the baby faces stand out a lot more.
They
and
were
really
going rowdy for the Kings of Darkness here. They wanted them to win so bad.
Yeah,
so
this was great stuff.
Obvious.
This was great stuff. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think the way they structured the match made a lot of sense, and everybody in this match, even Evil. I can't believe this is Evil, James. By the way, like you forget Evil was fucking great at one
Evil
time.
was over as hell here. Like he was actually a fucking fan favorite at one point, which is it's almost like they never should have broken what didn't need to be fixed.
Yeah, it was awesome. This match was great. I give it 4.5 stars. I love the way they structured this, and it was just three big guys, as they like to say, slapping me and Sonata just taking damage and all that type of stuff. So this is 4.5. What did you think, James?
I enjoyed it. I think my favorite act for sure is Killer Elite Squad, just because Lance Archer, big heel, big man, everybody dies, man. Slap meat.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though. I thought everybody was super over here. It's crazy, like how this was so short-lived. It feels like it was short-lived anyway with Archer and Davey Boy. I believe they represent Suzuki-gun here, and Kings of Darkness, they represent what? LIJ, right?
Yes.
So like they were super over here. Babyfaces win. They end the reign, the year-long reign, not to be. They fucking end it 1 day short. It was a really good, really good match to kind of close it off, close off that title reign. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a 4.5 as well. I thought, and considering the fact that they even got a 4.5, like most matches in a spot after Cody and Kota having a match like they did would have died in this spot. Not this match. These guys fucking again putting their working boots on. They came to show out.
I think that had to do with card structure, and I feel like this match had to follow Cody versus Kota. I think that was perfect. That was a great decision.
That is the word of this whole thing. I think the card structuring was fucking perfect here. I don't think there was one match that didn't need to be where it needed to be. That's the biggest thing I think. And for a card that was this stacked, that says a lot, because there could have been a lot of mistakes in the fucking planning of this, and I don't think they made one. Which is saying a lot, I think.
Mike, your thoughts on this match? If you want to talk about how the card was structured for the show, since that's a topic right now, you can just save it for a later time. What did you think of this?
I think it's fine. I think the match is about a 4.5 as well. I think it's absolutely fine from start to finish. As I've said before with the card structuring, there's like one match I would get rid of, and that's literally it.
And that would have been that trios match, right?
That's literally the only one, because like if you cut that, I would be like, oh, great pay-per-view. That I'm like, oh man, it's a really good pay-per-view.
I would still call it a great pay-per-view, because again, I don't think it took anything away from the show either.
Oh, it's not taking anything away. It's fucking. Oh my god, it just adds to the time, and I'm like, god damn, dude, 6 hours is a lot of time.
Yeah, that's the thing. We watched this when it was 5, so it wasn't nearly as bad, I think.
No, but we watched this at Casey's with 6, and I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, it was 6 hours. 6 hours long. If you include the Battle Royal, which is fair, but again, I stand by, like, I can't really give that much shit because they had to give the Kings of Survivor a debut.
Yeah.
That is where we can disagree, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We've done career retrospectives before on the Killer Elite Squad. Go watch WrestleMania 26 Retro because they both show up on that show. Weirdly enough, not as a team though.
Yeah,
they're actually not. They're in different tag teams actually, which is funny.
It's so
Yeah.
weird. It's so weird that like they only lasted for as long as they did, and I wish they lasted longer because they were a good team.
Yeah,
Like it was a very surprisingly good team. Like KES was great. They didn't fucking feel like they were out of place. And Archer and Davey just gelled well. And I wish they didn't like break it up as soon as they did. I feel like they should have kept it around a little bit longer. But
as for Evil, Evil would go on. Evil and Sonata would have a few tag title reigns. They eventually would lose the belts. Evil, ironically enough, I think challenged Jericho the next year for the IWGP Intercontinental belt at Wrestle Kingdom.
That's a weird concept to hear.
Yeah.
while Jericho was the world champion for AEW, by the way.
So fucking weird.
No, that was Hiroshi Tanahashi you're thinking of.
Was it? No. Was it?
Yeah, because it was before it wasn't that yet. But anyhow,
Yeah.
continuing, Evil then would and Sonata would continue to team up. They would enter World Tag Leagues and they would just get to the finals but not quite win them. I think they won the belts one more time as a team, and then eventually once the pandemic hit, Evil had to go away for a little bit, so Sonata kind of had to hold the fort down on his own. And then when Evil came back, he turned heel, joined the House of Torture. He won the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
He joined the Bullet Club. He was originally supposed to take over the Bullet Club as the leader, and then that fell flatter than piss.
Yeah, and then House of Torture became a thing. And then he's won a few championships. He's won the Never Openweight belt. He was actually the Never Openweight and Never Openweight six-man tag champions at the same time at one point. And then eventually
that was still not super over either, by the way. There was a lot of people it was go away heat for Evil for a long time after that.
Yeah. And eventually, it's still that way. He doesn't have any championships at this point, but yeah, Evil's just his career is kind of dead in the water at the moment. But as for Sonata will go on to have a really great career in New Japan after the Evil tag team folded. He continued his run in that faction. I can't remember, and I'm not good with acronyms, so I'm not going to try to say the acronym. And then he won the IWGP United States title, which was like his first singles title last year, defeating Hiroshi Tanahashi. Yeah, Hiroshi Tanahashi. He's been in World Tag Leagues a few times. He was in the G1 and did fairly well. And then finally he went away for a little bit. Got a brand new look. He beat Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title earlier this year. He started his own faction called Just Five Guys, and I think he's a heel at the moment, or like neutral. I'm not really sure.
He's a face. I guess he's a face. Like he's back. He's weird. It's weird. I don't like it. I should, but I don't. I miss Cold Skull Sonata. He's just Okada 2.0 right now. I don't like it.
But we're getting a beta. It looks like we're going to get, unless he loses the belt, Tetsuya Naito versus Sonata for the belt at Wrestle Kingdom next year, since Naito won the G1s. But, obviously plans have changed. So
who knows? There's a lot of... New Japan is in a very weird place right now. Put it that way.
Yeah. Then we had the next match, and, this match, again, was different. Hair versus hair, and no seconds death match for the Never Openweight Championship. It was Minoru Suzuki defending his title against Hiroki Goto. The reason for this match was Minoru Suzuki had won the belt from Hiroki Goto. I think Goto lost the belt, but then Minoru Suzuki ended up with the title. He beat somebody for it, and then
this is a very long. No, this is a very long reign with the Never Openweight title. I think for Suzuki,
very long.
This is the peak of Suzuki's run here, which is crazy that this was his peak.
Hiroki Goto challenged for the title a couple times, but he always failed to win the championship, and he just could not live with the fact that he could not beat Minoru Suzuki for that championship. So he finally decided that he was going to put his hair on the line because he felt like that. That was all he had left. He didn't have anything left. So Minoru Suzuki said, okay, I'll accept it. I'm also going to put my hair on the line if I lose the title, which said a lot about Minoru Suzuki. And he wanted no excuses type of thing. Minoru Suzuki said there's going to be no seconds in this match. No one's going to be ringside. It's just going to be one-on-one, me versus you, which I think said a lot about Minoru Suzuki, that like it was the heel. And it made sense that he was the one that called for the no seconds, which I thought made all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was a badass too. Like he didn't give a damn. He didn't necessarily need Suzuki-gun. It was nice to have.
Yeah, and the match starts. Minoru Suzuki, his theme song's always awesome. It's obviously not the same. Not the
same version, but this is the best version for sure, because this is the one that got him super over, dude. When he comes out and he's basically toured the ring and it goes Casa ni Nare, the crowd fucking screaming in unison.
Yeah, it's insane.
You want tell me you're over without telling me you're over. Like holy shit.
It wasn't, and I don't think it was a big thing yet because he doesn't signal for it. He usually signals for it now when it gets to that part.
Oh no, but the crowd just fucking, and he was super healed out, but the crowd bellowed this shit out, like it was super over this song.
And the match starts. They both just get into a brawl in the beginning. They just beat the crap out of each other. They just hit vicious strikes on each other. Eventually, Minoru Suzuki just takes him down with a clothesline. And eventually, at one point, he locks him into a rear naked choke sleeper hold, and he has him like up against the turnbuckles. And because there's no rope breaks, they can't call for it. The only way to win this match really is by pinfall, submission, or by knockout. And he falls to the Minoru Suzuki. Hiroki Goto falls to the floor, and you think he's just going to be done here. But I like what happens. Minoru Suzuki doesn't even want because the doctor that's called in and everything. He doesn't want the doctor or anyone to end the match. He wants to end the match himself.
I love that touch. Like, they wanted to stop the match, but he's like, motherfucker, it's a death match. Get out of my fucking way. Like, I love that, man. Like, there's a reason Minoru was called Murder Grandpa. Like, it sounds cheesy as fuck, but when you look at this here, man, every bit of that rings true. He didn't give a shit. You were in his way, and if you were in his way, good fucking luck.
But Minoru Suzuki just picks apart Hiroki Goto here. He throws him into the guardrail a few times. He grabs a chair and smashes him across the back. He throws him into the post. He hits a vicious snap suplex onto him, which is just insane. Eventually, Hiroki Goto...
very Dynamite Kid-esque with that snap, by the way.
Yeah, it really was. And then eventually Hiroki Goto makes a comeback, and he just finally gets all the passion in the world. He starts going off on Minoru Suzuki. He hits a couple of suicide dives on the outside. Hits a vicious superplex from the top. And then at one point, like, they just start laying vicious strikes on each other even more. And then eventually the finish comes. I think he wins with, like, what? I forget what it's called. It's like his finisher, but I don't remember exactly what it is. It's like a STO into a backbreaker, pretty much.
Yeah, I forget what it was called, but this was a great finish because he was working on the back the whole match, and it was really bugging him, and you could tell Minoru was getting fucked up.
Yeah. But the best part about it, too, they go back on the wheel, too. Suzuki-gun does come out. Hiroki Goto has, like, this moment where he fights them off, and then there's, like, there's a point where Minoru Suzuki hits, like, a clothesline on him. It looks like he's going to lose, and then he kicks out, like, at the last second. And I like it, too, because they made it clear, like, Minoru Suzuki went back on his word, but I don't even think Minoru Suzuki even knew they were out there type of thing. So it's like, I don't even think he went back on his word. I think, like, it just kind of happened that they just happened to come out there and all that type of stuff.
Right, yeah.
And I love, too, like, members of Chaos are, like, holding back. Like, they don't even get involved, really. They're just trying to prevent the interference from even happening. But the match at the moment is 4.5 stars. Like, if it was just rating the match, but we're going to rate the after effects because I love what happens. As you know, James, typically, if you see a hair versus hair match, you know how it usually goes. Yes, the heel always loses, but you know the heel never ends up going to get the head shaved. The babyface has to drag him back, and they get embarrassed. Yeah. That's not what fucking happens here.
Yeah, Suzuki-gun tries to bail him out and get him out of there, and Suzuki's still loopy from taking I think a Ushigoroshi at one point. He was knocked out for a loop, so he was out of it. And then there was a referee that says, no, he's got to go back. He's got to shave his head. And then Suzuki starts putting 2 and 2 together. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I gave my goddamn work. Get out of here. Get the fuck away from me. And he goes to the ring, grabs a chair, puts it there himself, yanks the goddamn buzzer out of Hiroki's hands, and shaves his head himself. Because if he's gonna embarrass himself, he might as well have the hands to do so. Love this story. Love the story.
I think this was great too because he still looked like a badass even though he had to shave his head. What the best part about it too is it was a way for him to show respect to Hiroki Goto for finishing the war. Yeah,
this was it. Yeah,
like this is the best way I think I've ever seen a hair versus hair match handled, where everybody came out looking good. No one was embarrassed. This was awesome. This is 4 3/4 stars because of the aftermath. This was fantastic.
I agree. I firmly agree with that. Yeah, 4 3/4. They again, another match just killed it. I mean, these two were so unknown. No idea. I mean, unless you watched WCPW back in the day, you would have not known who the fuck Minoru Suzuki is.
This is my first exposure to Minoru Suzuki and Hiroki Goto. And like,
if you were exposed to these two, you were fans of these guys after this match.
Yeah.
They absolutely they killed it. I mean, this is the best way to get, without promo packages, without anything, to get two relative unknowns to a casual audience ever. This is the way you do it. This match is exhibit fucking A for anybody that's looking to kind of get not just the audience of the hardcores, but the casual audience as well. Like, this was picture perfect.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't even need to be 5, but the fact that they even got that close is a testament to how fucking great these guys are as workers. How good they are at storytelling.
And again,
phenomenal match.
Again, too, I think we should compliment the storytelling here because they could have put this as the cooldown spot after the Cody match.
Yeah,
I love the fact that what a great decision not to do that because this match would not have worked if it was right after Cody.
No.
Like,
I agree. Would have died at death. They put it right where they needed to at the right spot. This is really, really well done. So, yeah, 4 3/4. I agree. Mike, what about you?
Oh, you might not be here. I think you have to step away again for a second.
Mike, are you there? God damn it! I'll pause. All right, so Mike, what'd you think of the Hiroki Goto Minoru match? Because we praised.
I think it's really good. I think it's solid from start to finish. The only minor thing I have with it is he fucks up the cut.
Yes,
but he fucks up the cut really bad, and he's just like,
but again,
here, and it's like, dude, there's still a whole chunk of head left.
There is, but well, here's a couple things. Every hair versus hair match spot is like that. Like, if you cut a good chunk of the hair,
incorrect. You go to the Fed and do hair versus hair, they're pulling out the razor, they're taking everything.
Yeah, well,
they might even take the eyebrows, dog.
I like it better this way though because and I will say I can't say that's a complaint only because it's him doing it. It's not even a complaint.
It's like my only thing is that he up the cut. Other than that, it's fine.
I think he looks nuts.
James, I'm not the IWC. It's okay. It's a minor nitpick.
Yeah,
that's all I have in the whole show is minor nitpicks. You don't have to justify everything.
I'm just saying that it is what it is. Like, I don't even think it was that bad. As long as most of the hair was gone, which it was.
Did I make it sound that bad?
I don't think. Yeah, it's just
I said it was a minor complaint. That's all I said.
You should have said it. I think you should have said. I think the key thing is you should have said a nitpick, not a minor complaint. I think complaint kind of threw him off a little bit. I guess.
Maybe I don't know.
That's fine. It's fine.
Most of my life.
But anyhow, what would you star rate? What would you star rate in if you had to give one?
We gave it 4 3/4, by the way. So.
Oh, I give it like a 4. I don't think the 3/4 needed. I think it's a solid 4.
That's
fine. Yeah.
That's
solid 4.
Then they hype up.
At least we all enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah, then it shows a video package hyping up the incoming New Japan events for 2018. Really good video package to hype it up. They don't have all the dates in mind, but they have like the rough calendar year.
They promote G1 Climax. They promote Dominion that year. They promote everything. Which is they promoted them in huge because that's where Omega was going to win the IWGP title.
Yeah, so that was good. Then we have, just another match of the year candidate. It's the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship match. Marty Scurll defended against Will Ospreay, Hiromu Takahashi, and Kushida. What a four-way.
Dude.
If you made like a list of like top 10 four-way matches that has ever happened, this should be like in the top 10, like in the conversation. Type of.
This was this was a revolutionary type match because this is how number one, this is how the cruiserweight division should have been booked in WWE right here. Like this was fucking Exhibit A. Yeah. Number two, you had a bunch of feuds. This is a four-way that actually made sense because Scurll had some beef with Kushida. Kushida had a rivalry with Hiromu. Hiromu had some rivalries going on with Ospreay. It was a little friendly competition thing.
Hiromu had some... Chono keeps fucking injured.
No.
The company.
No.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah, like you said, like everybody had a history. Like Marty Scurll had won the belt. I think he won it from Hiromu, ironically enough. And then, Kushida. Don't even get Kushida and Marty Scurll fought for the ROH TV title in ROH, and they were even talking about that shit going on, by the way, too. Like,
there was a lot. There was a lot of history between all four of these guys, and it was so great. It was so great that it was a four-way that was built up naturally, that made all the sense in the world, that wasn't just, okay, let's do the four-way for the sake of doing the four-way. No, there was history between all four men involved, and it made the match that much better.
LA Knight, out of 5.
I do.
But I think the best part about this was the first time they ever did a four-way for this belt they talked about, too. I couldn't believe that. Like, the first four-way for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Makes sense,
yeah, it did. Because, I think, too, this was around the time where WWE with their mid-card titles, everyone would just be thrown into a multi-man match for no reason. So it was kind of cool that, New Japan actually had this be the first one. And they haven't done many since then. I think the last one they did was, and the next one they did was, at Wrestle Kingdom this year with, I think, so, yeah, this match was absolutely awesome. The start of the match, Marty Scurll kind of takes a powder for a little bit, and he kind of lets everybody else
it's like
he's
themselves. Trying to be the heel, let everybody else fight, and then they do for a little bit, and then Marty keeps doing it, and then keeps breaking up pin attempts. It's like, nope, in my belt. And then they're like, all right, fuck this guy. And then all three of them just go after Marty, and Marty is just getting shit canned, basically, on the outside for a little bit.
And then eventually, Ospreay and Kushida go at it for a little bit. They kind of have a little tussle and all that type of stuff. And Ospreay hit some really good high-impact maneuvers, really good suicide dives and everything like that. You could just see Ospreay was just on the rise right here. Like, he was very well known, but it's just so cool to see the evolution of Will Ospreay from how you see him now.
Keep in mind as well, a lot of people are going to know who Ospreay is and Marty Scurll is because these two were, at the time, endorsed heavily by Paul Heyman as well, like big time endorsed by him. So the casuals in that respect, or at least the casual WWE hardcores, which is a weird bracket to fucking say, but the WWE fans are gonna know who Ospreay and Scurll are. They don't really know much about Kushida and Hiromu. So there's a lot of, like, you could say ROH fans might know who Kushida is. Hiromu is strictly New Japan, so you got the New Japan homegrown guy there. But,
and Hiromu
it was great.
He wasn't a rookie, but he wasn't really wrestling all that long by this point too. He's only been in the business for like I think a couple of years at this point.
Can we talk about how there was a goddamn they're all brawling towards a trust, and Ospreay climbs up this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Moonsaults off the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then just continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like what he does. I think he brings back Kushida for the pin, and he closes and locks the barricade. So that way, like, they have to, like, they can still get over, but it's, like, more harder for them to get over to break up any pinfalls now and all that type of stuff. It's really good stuff. And this match is just a sprint. Like, there's Canadian destroyers, there's crossbodies, there's tiger bombs. I really just can't
Time
do this
bombs.
match justice.
Time bombs.
Yeah, you just really,
fucking. What do they call? What do they always call? Kushida's fucking suplex package pile driver. I always forget what they call it. But
yeah, I forget what they call that.
Time driver, I think. I think it was the time driver or flux capacitor, something like that. No, that's Kazarian. I don't know, but
it's something like that. Though,
they fucking go crazy with it. But yeah, continue.
There's a bit where like Will Ospreay has a abdominal stretch onto I think it's Marty Scurll, and then Kushida has the Kimura lock onto Hiromu, and Ospreay realizes that he has to break his hold, or else because he knows that there's no way Hiromu's not going to tap out. Like it's a Kimura lock. No one really. Your arm will get broken if you don't tap out to it, unless you're Cody Rhodes from 2023. Then, but it's already broken by that point. So you know.
There's also I also want to put this out there. There was a spot where, and I love this spot. You had Marty Scurll have wrist tape or tape. He tapes Hiromu's wrist into the barricade and trap him, and then he breaks his fingers just to add insult to injury. And he's like, screw you. No.
And I love at one point. Just for good measure, he goes back and lays him out with a super kick too, just for good measure too, type of thing.
Yeah,
awesome.
And then Hiromu had enough, and he basically had a hot tag moment because of it, and then just started sunset flip bombing every goddamn buddy. It was wild, absolutely wild. Yeah. I think Kushida hit a sunset flip bomb on Hiromu at one point. This match, from what I remember, really fucked up Hiromu's neck because he was just going haywire at this point.
Yeah,
like he was going fucking ham.
I like at this one point where like Marty Scurll, like Will Ospreay and Hiromu are fighting each other. No, sorry, Will Ospreay and Kushida are fighting each other at one point. And Marty Scurll is because Will Ospreay is about to do like a superplex or some type of Spanish fly or something. And Marty Scurll comes up to break their fingers, and they kind of like, okay, wait a minute, he's gonna break our fingers here. We have to work together. They both at the same time break Marty Scurll's fingers. Like it wasn't like they did two hands. It was like basically one hand they did this to him too. Like and he falls to the mat. And then Will Ospreay just continues to be like, I'm gonna hit my move anyway. He hits a Spanish fly onto Kushida. Marty Scurll had a really great like super kick. He locks he hits a package pile driver but doesn't get the win. Then eventually finally Will Ospreay wins after so much struggle with an ox cutter and he pins Marty Scurll to the person that like
They kept mentioning and had the rivalry all over the UK with.
Yeah, and that is number. And Will Ospreay wins the match and becomes the new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. This match is fantastic. Probably one of the best four-way matches in terms of like a sprint type of thing that you'll see. Yeah. It's 5 stars. This match is an absolute
5 all day, yeah.
I think this match really changes This match really changes the game, too, because don't forget, we get the NXT North American title ladder match. I feel like this match influenced that ladder match.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time. Yeah.
And pretty much influenced, like, the style of NXT. Like, the style of NXT changes because of this match right here. Like,
basically, this whole show is the reason why NXT goes a different direction, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it was still going in that direction, but I feel like this show sped up
that process, and then Vince got his girly paws on it and ruined that.
Yeah, but this match was fantastic, though. And again, it's just I think too we're gonna talk about variety was very much key in the show. Every match on the show felt different. Like, it was
every single one of them, and that's great for a wrestling show. Not everything felt the same to the other. It was very much different flavors of wrestling for everybody. But they were all done beautifully. Like, this is best in the world doing it. It wasn't like, okay, you have different varieties just for the sake of having different varieties. No, every variety made sense. The stories made sense in the varieties you get. And the best in the world are doing these matches.
Yeah,
which New Japan was... They absolutely showed out here, for sure.
Going through the career retrospectives, going back to Hiroki Goto and Minoru Suzuki, since I forgot to do them. We'll do Minoru Suzuki since he's quicker. He would eventually go on to win the IWGP Intercontinental title, had a really good run with that belt. And then eventually he won the KOPW title for a few times. He had some really great matches in New Japan. Eventually he ended Suzuki-gun. and now he's on excursion pretty much. He just kind of goes wherever the fuck he wants pretty much. Like,
Yeah, he's not on excursion. He's on vacation.
So there you go. Yeah, I guess it's vacation because he loves doing this type of thing. Is that? I guess.
Yeah, this is his vacation. He gets to wrestle in America, and he enjoys America.
Hell yeah.
And then Hiroki Goto will go on to have a really good run with the Never Openweight Championship. He would defend it a few times, but then eventually lost the belt. And then he won the Never Openweight tag titles with Ishii and Yoshihashi a few times. He fought Bishamon, and then you could just take Yoshihashi's career retrospectives and basically add it to
Hiroki Goto's,
yeah. And then as for the 4-way, Will Ospreay just became a fucking star after this match. He became one of the best junior heavyweights in the world. Just really making a name for himself. He won the junior heavyweight title.
I think he became the third ever Grand Slam champion in New Japan history, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
And he just put on banners with these titles and everything that he did. He, eventually turned heel, left Chaos, and just formed United Empire. And I think that's been the best run of his entire career. He's just had excellent matches.
It's the best faction in New Japan since Bullet Club's heyday. Seriously,
yeah, it's awesome.
It has usurped Bullet Club as being the number one faction in New Japan. The United Empire now take that crown.
I think I've commended Will Ospreay a lot too. Like, I think a lot of people really didn't like him all that much because he was just a flippy guy. He's a fucking character now. He's a fucking star now.
He is not just a one-dimensional guy like a lot of people assumed. He is the real deal. Like, you could give him anything and he'll turn it into gold. Any style you want him to do, he'll do it.
He was even great back then. I think he was just trying to make a name for himself. Once he made a name for himself, he's like, okay, I'm going to be a fucking character now, which I think is a great thing for Will Ospreay.
I mean, that's, he took the same things that Styles did, and, a lot of guys did, similar style. Made a name for themselves with the high-impact moves, in AJ Styles' case, and then he became a character, and he became a beloved guy, It's the same with Ospreay here. So. And
then Hiromu Takahashi would have a really killer run in New Japan. He would win the Super J Cup like 3 years in a row. I think he won the junior heavyweight title a few times more. He won the junior heavyweight tag titles a lot, and he's just been on a tear in New Japan pretty much. And then
he has always been a character, unlike Ospreay.
Yeah. And then as for Kushida, Kushida would continue his time in the Indies. Eventually, he got signed by WWE and NXT. Unfortunately, he signed at a bad time because he signed right before the Wednesday Night War started. So I think whatever they had planned for him kind of had to get put on the back burner because they had to kind of gear up for the war, and Kushida was still too new to the company, so they had to pivot a little bit. And he would get like a bit of a stop pushes. He would do well, but then shit would happen. He did get to do the time splitters at least one time in NXT, which was cool. And then the pandemic hit, so that kind of affected Kushida's a little bit. He competed in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament, which is what kind of turned his career around. And he finally started to be booked well again. He finally he had killer matches for the North American title. He had a killer Cruiserweight title run. Unfortunately, it was just too little fucking late because Vince took over NXT and had made him a comedy act with Ike Manjiro and made him a fucking comedy tag team. And it was to the point where Kushida's just like, I'm done with this. He left the company, and he went back to New Japan, and he had a basically resurgence in New Japan, and he's done some few things for Impact Wrestling. So, Kushida's doing well.
What a lot of fucking people should do now.
And then Marty Scurll is the sad one. Unfortunately, Marty Scurll became the big thing in the wrestling business for a bit. He was big in the UK. He did some really great things in New Japan some more. At All In, he was like you forget he was a semi-main at All In, actually.
Fought Okada of all people as well.
Yeah, and then his contract wasn't up yet, so he couldn't go to AEW with the Elite yet. He did, and also too, he was part of that resurgence of the NWA too. He fought Nick Aldis for the belt like a few times and all that type of stuff.
Yep.
And then he had a choice. It looked like he was going to go to AEW or WWE, but he chose to stay and be the head booker of ROH, which I honestly didn't really think was a bad decision. I think, he wanted to make wrestling outside of the AEW and WWE a big deal. And it
And
actually turned.
it was about to go that way, and then he fucked up.
The pandemic hit first, so basically everything that he was going to do got put on hold, and then he was a part of the speaking out movement, and basically that's it. Like he's done a few shows, but basically his wrestling career has basically stalled because of the speaking out movement.
I will say, with everything that has come out now, I think it's one of those things of, if you're going to give people like Adam Blampied a second chance in this industry, you need to fucking let Marty Scurll work.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, with everything that came out now, I don't think he should be fucking ostracized anymore. He is more than welcome to come into AEW, and it'll be fine. It's not like it's gonna fucking turn a bunch of people off. Like, a lot of the people that probably would have been pissed off about it are probably gone from watching it weekly anyway, so just bring him in now. Like, this is probably the best time to fucking do it. I don't think he should be ostracized going forward. I think he already fucking served his punishment, put it that way. I will say.
I think you've told me before, James. Wasn't like the thing he got spoken out for, wasn't that not even as bad as like others in the speaking out? Like,
no, it was bad. I mean, it wasn't great, because they were both drunk. But I think that being into a factor, I mean, it's one of those things where he didn't know that she was underage, I don't think, and they fucking slept together. So they were both drunk when it happened. So, I mean, as fucking shitty as it was still, and he should have known better anyway, I mean, I think he learned his lesson, and I don't think he should be punished anymore for it.
Yeah.
But that's
what do you
just
think,
me.
Mike?
That's just me.
What do you think, Mike? Or do you don't want to say anything about it because it's a touchy subject?
Not getting involved in this one.
I don't blame you. All right, next match.
I have no battle in this one, so I'm not gonna throw my piece if I don't have one.
Yeah, I don't really care either way. I'm putting it out there that I think it is kind of shitty that they keep him. They just fucking kind of fuck him over this long, when he's more than served his fucking time about it.
Next match was the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match. Hiroshi Tanahashi defending his belt against Jay White. Hiroshi Tanahashi had won the belt, and he had been going on a tear defending this title. And Jay White, why don't you kind of say the backstory behind Jay White, James? Because you have I do
have the backstory. So Jay White was on excursion, well, kind of excursion. He was in the New Japan dojo for a bit. He barely had been a young lion in like 2017. And so he went into Ring of Honor, and he was a part of the Search and Destroy faction with Jonathan Gresham and the Motor City Machine Guns. And so that was a faction that was running around in Ring of Honor for a little bit. And he had championship matches with Kushida and all this for the Ring of Honor television title. He just kind of floated around there, and he was kind of gimmickless. He was kind of like a babyface, but started to show some heel tendencies. And then he went away, and then he showed up here and like the go home, I think, to Wrestle Kingdom, and just blindsides Hiroshi Tanahashi and Dust debuting the Switchblade gimmick. And it was like a night and day difference even here. Because, like, I remember he had no character. You didn't think he could cut a promo to save his life. You wouldn't think that watching the show. He cuts a fucking great promo here against Hiroshi. He is completely different guy. And it shows. It's really good character work from Jay White in just such a short amount of time being in the business. By this point, I think he wasn't even in 2 years into the business. And now he's already going in against the ace for the IWGP Intercontinental title, third before the main event. That's a fucking ridiculous spot to put anybody in, never mind a guy who hasn't even been 2 years in the business.
Yeah.
They had to have a lot of fucking trust in a guy like him.
Yeah. And the reason I had you do the backstory is because you were at the show where you saw him as the white meat babyface, and like it's it's just a completely different circumstance here. So it's like,
Right.
Can we say this is the best anyone's ever come back from Excursion like in recent years from New Japan was Jay White.
I would say so. I think he definitely. If it's not the best, he definitely was one of the better ones. And
Yeah.
I think he definitely started a trend of going on Excursion and then coming back a better wrestler and a better character afterwards.
I would say like the only one that probably comes close to topping him is Konosuke Takeshita, but I feel like that's not a fair comparison because Takeshita had a big audience to wrestle when he went on his Excursion versus Jay White.
Yeah, big time, yeah.
But yeah, this match was awesome. Actually, let me rephrase that because I don't want to say awesome. I think let's also talk about this match gets shit on a lot because everyone does not really.
Yeah, it's very much.
You want to kind of break this match down, James?
Yeah, a lot of people. I won't break it down, but I'll break down the reason why people shit on it. They look at this match because it comes after the fucking awesome Fatal 4-Way, and they say, "Well, this match was bad. It wasn't great. It was very slow." They fucking were doing like cross bodies from the goddamn top rope to the outside, but okay. That's number one. Number two, the story of the match was told beautifully between these two, and the crowd was super into this. Like the crowd was on their feet to see if Hiroshi was actually going to be defeated by Jay, who again, I need to reiterate, was a fucking upstart who went rogue on the biggest name in the company pretty much. Like, you know, Okada may have been the face at this point in New Japan, but the legendary face is always going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi because he's the reason why we are at the point we are at now on the show, why New Japan had a resurgence. He got it out of the fucking doldrums of the Inoki era and fucking took it to the promised land, essentially. Right? He's the reason we are at this point. And I think a lot of people recognize that, and the fact that this guy, who is 2 years in, is having the match of his life, the crowd were super into this, and you could tell. Like, they were chanting for Tanahashi all throughout it, but it wasn't, like, they were booing Jay White, and they were against Jay White for the right reasons. This was a really good fucking match, and I think a lot of people kind of lose sight of that when they're like, especially if you're an American audience member, you think, okay, well, this match is very slow compared to the last one. It's the fucking junior heavyweights, of course. It's going to be like that. But it was still a great match. It was a technical fucking masterpiece, actually. Like, these two fucking had a great technical match. Like, this is probably the best technical match I've seen Jay White have still to this day. The only thing that tops this, I think, is the one he had with FTR recently. The 2 out of 3 falls match with him and Juice taking on FTR.
Yeah.
So... yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot of great ones. The match starts. Tanahashi dominates in the beginning, but it's not like a way that makes Jay White look stupid. It's just like a way, like, because he's so inexperienced type of thing. So Tanahashi's a veteran, and he's not doing it in a way where it's illogical, which is good. Then Jay White finally picks apart his leg. He traps him in the barricade. He just starts pulling at his leg while it's there, which was just absolutely insane.
He was pulling his leg out of his leg.
Yes, he was. And he picks him apart. He locks him in a figure 4. He hits vicious chop blocks. And yeah, the match is just really technical, really back and forth. You see some crossbodies from Tanahashi. Jay White never hits the Blade Runner in this match too, which I think is an interesting thing. Which I think.
Yeah, I think if he did, I love the idea that if he did hit it, maybe he would have been the champion. I love that they protected the finisher here.
Yeah,
really well done.
Eventually, Tanahashi wins with a crossbody splash. But yeah, really good technical match. Yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars. I thought this was really good stuff. And you know, I think this just showed the talent and the potential that Jay White was going to have, because anybody else in this spot that was a young lion would not have done, I don't think, as well as Jay White did.
By the way, Tanahashi looked great here because he didn't look like he was walking on 2 left feet and it was injured to shit. Which is funny because he probably was, but like it wasn't as bad yet.
This is really good stuff. I give it 3.5 stars. What would you give this? James?
I give it 4. I thought it was a good and fucking solid goddamn IC title match. It didn't overstay its welcome. It did the fucking job. It got Jay White over. It got Hiroshi over. And Everybody looked good here. I have no complaints on this match. I think a lot of people shit on it for whatever reasons, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought
And I think
was a
this
good technical matchup.
I think this match did wonders for Jay White's career. Which I'll talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
in a second.
Yeah, this wouldn't be the last time these two would fight either.
Yeah. Mike, what did you think of this match overall and your star rating and everything like that?
Honestly, it's really good for does everything to do.
Yeah, you're cutting out. Sorry, repeat that.
Hold on.
We gotta love the fucking technological difficulties. Big show! Ah!
It's terrible.
Alright, as you were saying, go ahead.
Cool. Let's try that again.
Yep.
It's great. It's a great back and forth. It's one of it. I think it's my favorite match on the entire card.
Really?
Honestly,
Wow.
What would you
It's
give it? What would you give it?
on its own, it's good. On its own, it's really fucking good.
Right.
If you took that match out of the pay-per-view, it would still be as good as it is.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I'll give it a solid 5. I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
It's the semi-young veteran taking on the brand new upstart who's already like, I'm fucking gunning to become the best in this company very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really showed out here as well. This guy, like in general, I think a lot of people didn't know who he was. And if you were new to New Japan, which a lot of people were on this night, especially considering what the semi-main event was, you found out who Jay White was on this night. And I think that was another thing. I think they put their working boots on. It's the story of the night. Everybody put their working boots on to fucking make sure, hey, this is who I am, this is who we are. Pay attention. Subscribe.
Yeah.
They were really wanting to get those subscribers for New Japan World, and oh boy did they.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, let's continue.
We got career.
career
Do we have career retrospectives? I feel like we've done Jay White already, but I don't know.
No, we haven't. So Jay White, actually, didn't you review ROH Best in the World? So
We
I
did,
think-
yeah. So we did do a
So
career
the-
retrospective on him.
The only thing new we could say is he had one last run in New Japan with the IWGP. Was it the world title now? It's not
Yeah,
the
world heavyweight title, yeah. And then he left New Japan and came to AEW, and he had a 5-star banger with FTR for the AEW World Tag Titles on Collision.
Yeah, it's great stuff. And then as for Hiroshi Tanahashi, he would just continue to be like the ace of New Japan, I should call it. Like that, there's a reason that he has that nickname. It's not just random. He really is the ace of New Japan, just kind of like a good talent that you could put in the main event slot, but also he became kind of like. I hate to make this comparison, but he became basically what Vince thinks Baron Corbin is of WWE, where he's the one that tests out the new talent that comes in New Japan.
It's not even. I wouldn't even call it that. The reason why he's called the Ace is because he's the reason why the New Japan survived Inokiism and thrived again. He's the him and Okada are the main reason because they had a feud that was great.
Yeah, but they had, Hiroshi Tanahashi just put on banners. He won the, IC title, I think, one more time. He's won the IWGP US title twice, and
World Heavyweight. He won the World Heavyweight title, I think, one more time as well.
And then, he was started that bridge gap. If you remember, that's the whole reason people talked about New Japan and AEW have a friendship, because Jericho did the 30-year celebration, and he sent a video in, and that got people talking about it. So, like, and then he was he competed for AEW on a few occasions, mainly for the World Championship, and then that's basically the career retrospective of Jay White. Then we have
and Tanahashi as well. Yeah.
Now, James, I need to order some food real quick. Because if I don't do it now, I will regret it. You want to take us through like the story behind the next match?
Yes, I could easily do that. Yeah, that's no big deal. So while Owen does that, the next match is Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho for the IWGP United States Championship. Even though it's with two Canadians, so it's weird. They're not from the U.S. It's whatever. It's fine. It's whatever. Don't make sense, but it's wrestling. But they fight for the IWGP US title. No DQ, they say. Reason this was no DQ is because Jericho did not pull any punches. Much like Jay White with Tanahashi, he was gunning for Omega immediately. So he made his appearance. The crowd went nuts. He sent that video in, and the crowd did not believe what they were seeing. They thought it was a glitch, but it was actually Chris Jericho challenging Kenny Omega for the U.S. title. And what's ironic is that Jericho won the WWE United States title not during the same year when he announced he was coming to Wrestle Kingdom. So he then attacks Omega multiple times, including one time at a press conference, to the point where Kenny Omega had enough and attacked him back, and it was basically fighting fire with fire. At one point, Kenny Omega, I think, just smashes Jericho's face with a fucking table full on. And they just were brutalizing each other from the off even before they had the match. So because of that, New Japan officials decided to make this a no disqualification matchup. Much like the Minoru Suzuki and Hiroki Goto match. There was no rules. The only rules there, that you had to make a pinfall or submission in the middle of the ring, minus the knockout stipulation, and that's kind of where we're at now. What makes me sad is you don't get to hear Judas on the PA, even though they easily could have worked the deal out with Jericho, but I don't know. Apparently, worldwide trademark, according to Mike, you said is very difficult.
Trying to get the copyright for a track on a pay-per-view and to keep that copyright on a pay-per-view is not fucking easy.
Right.
Especially since it's Jericho's probably going, I'd love to probably have this, and I love when I show up to shows and being able to do this.
Yeah.
But I haven't worked with New Japan, at least when it comes to showing up as a company in some time. And they probably haven't asked, on top of you got to go through the record company as well, which kind of
we know the DMCA are assholes.
Yeah, well, DMCA is one thing, but you have to get in contact with not only him but his agent, the record company. It's a lot of work instead of just, well, we can pay some schmuck to like $200 to make us a track, and then we're
well. They didn't even do that. They just didn't want to pay any money, and they just muted it entirely, including the commentary, which is very odd.
Yeah, it's just weird.
But like when
I'm not sure why.
When watching it live, I remember the Judas track played. It was the first time he ever came out with Judas, and the crowd were very, very hyped. Like, they were going nuts for him. He's coming out with the Alpha shirt. He's big time Jericho, basically. And then Omega's music hits. They go nuts again. And, I mean, holy shit. The fight was on right away, pretty much. I think Jericho baseball slides, or he just ambushes Kenny immediately after he takes off all of his clothes. Or do they start it off, or I swear he just ambushed.
Well, since I could take it over, since I don't want to mention some other behind the scenes things that was kind of cool that was brought up. Jericho attacked Omega like a few days before the show.
I already did that.
I
already said
that.
Okay. Yeah.
But I feel like there's a couple of the significance of that, because New Japan doesn't do blood all that much. Like, they never blade.
So they did. Yeah, the last time they bladed, I think, was Hogan and Jarrett, ironically enough.
And then during the press conference, Omega showed that he could get just as aggressive with Jericho, and attacked him during the press conference, which that was significant too. Because typically, if you watch the New Japan press conferences, they're very sports oriented. This match was just huge because Jericho brought that different perspective, and it wasn't like it was Jericho from WWE really coming in. This was a completely different character of Chris Jericho that we saw in New Japan.
This is.
And I really wish
this is in between his run of he's the WWE guy into the Painmaker, essentially. He's becoming the Painmaker slowly.
And he was doing the list he was a comedy. I mean, he made it work, but he was kind of a comedy act, like when he left WWE too. So that's why it was so cool to kind of see him come and do this type of thing too.
Yeah, he basically went back to his 2008 run in this matchup here.
Yeah, like it's just great stuff. The match starts off. Yeah, Jericho attacks Omega before the match even starts. They brawl around for a little bit. Omega kicks his ass at the beginning. He hits the missile drop kick on the outside, and they fight towards the barricade. Eventually, Kenny Omega goes for the flip dive on the outside. No, he doesn't go for a flip dive. He just goes for like a regular dive on the outside. And he goes to go into the crowd and everything. And he goes right through the English announcers table. And
Yeah.
Don Callis gets wiped out, by the way, too. And I feel like, too, this is a cool thing to know now that I know the history. Because if you know the history between Don Callis and
Omega,
Chris Jericho. I'm sorry.
And Omega as well.
Yeah,
I mean, they
I
all
meant to say
yeah,
Omega.
they all have history with each other, yeah. So, like, Omega, he's doing it. I think he's trying to do a phenomenal forearm, too. And then he just crashes through this thing because Jericho moves out of the way.
And the commentary just gets wiped out and everything like that. Referee's trying to get some order, and Jericho just beats up the referee and the Young Lions. He destroys Red Shoes, and this is so cool to talk about in hindsight. He puts Red Shoes' son, Shoto Umino, who was a young lion at the time, in the walls of Jericho. And thank God for AEW, because this was called back last year, years later, when they did the 6-man tag and everything like that. Like, such great. I'm so glad this was referenced again. And Jericho just destroys Omega. He's just throwing shit on top of him. He's hitting him with chairs. Eventually, he throws him into just a table that's just over somewhere else. And then eventually, Omega starts fighting back. He throws a table on Jericho, and he hits a double stomp off of like the same like pole that like Ospreay did the.
Yeah, dude. For the record as well, they fucked each other up with this goddamn table. I mean, they fucked each other up. Like, Jericho said he's still not the same after taking some of the bumps on this table. Like, and I don't blame him because some of these bumps looked rough.
Yeah. And then, they fight back to the ring. The ref starts issuing accounts. And it does. And at first, I think, James, when you and I watched this, we thought this didn't make sense, but they never said there was no countouts.
That is true.
It made, and they made sense why they would start to do a count because the ref was laid out earlier, and I think he just finally had enough of Jericho's antics, pretty much. He was like, okay, you're getting back in this win. And Omega, I think at this point, he took like a Frankensteiner over the barricade.
Through a table,
he just barely beats the count at 19, which it was just barely, which was awesome. And Jericho dominates. Jericho dominates Omega. He works over his back and the open wound.
He flips off the crowd. He does the fucking Attitude Era spot where he takes a camera and flips off the crowd and takes multiple pictures of him flipping off the crowd. That was awesome.
And that became part of Jericho's thing, like in AEW. Like he does it a lot in AEW.
Yeah, but like he loves doing it. But here it made sense because it was the ultimate sign of disrespect. Because in New Japan, the press were fucking sacred. You do not touch the press. So the fact that Jericho touched the press, the crowd fucking lost their shit. They were booing the crap out of him after that. Like, as he's flipping them all off while taking the pictures. This is so good heel heat. Jericho knew when to get the right heat when it called for it, man. And he was a fucking... He was a maestro of the crowd here. He worked them into a frenzy.
And then Jericho destroys Omega with the chairs. We should mention, by the way, these chairs, by the way, are like hall chairs, by the way, too. Like, not like
there was no gimmick to them at all. These were legit, hard-ass steel chairs with fucking plastic covers on them, which means if you get hit by one of these things, you are fucked up. Like, you can easily get concussed on this shit.
Yeah. Omega tries to go for some type of springboard at one point, but Jericho counters into the Jericho-style dropkick to the knee of Omega. He works over the knee of Omega. He locks him in a half Boston Crab, but Omega's able to free himself. And the way he frees himself is he sprays cold spray right into Jericho's eyes, and Jericho can't see at this point. And he grabs Red Shoes, and he acts like he's trying to be able to see again. And Jericho drops towards Omega. And I love this because the chair had been set up in the corner. I don't think we saw a chair get set up in the corner. Like, it happened off camera type of thing. So it was, like, really cool. and then Jericho, hits the code breaker. Omega kicks out.
What a
He
great
counters-
code breaker, by the way, because he doesn't do the code breaker like he would do in the WWE. He's got his fucking knee. He's got one knee, just slams him into the fucking jaw with this thing. Like,
Yeah,
just,
great.
dude, the way Omega took this was brutal. Brutal.
And then Omega hits various feed triggers, various dragon suplexes onto Jericho, just destroys him. And he goes for the one-wing angel at one point, and Jericho counters it into the walls of Jericho. Just a really great, smooth
seamless fucking transition, yeah.
And then eventually Omega hits the one-wing angel on Jericho. This is the part of the match we have to be like, what happened here? Because there's not supposed to be rope breaks, and Jericho uses a rope break to break up the pin. It's like, ooh, okay. You have to have a clock here now because, they clearly wanted to protect Kenny Omega's finisher because obviously
didn't Omega reach for the ropes at one point when he was getting out of the walls?
But it didn't count. Like he actually called for like a rope break.
Okay, but all right. Well, I'll tell you exactly why, and maybe this is stretching. What did Jericho do to the referee earlier on in the fucking match again?
Yeah, he beat him up.
Yeah, so there's your excuse. There you go.
And then the match continues. Eventually, Omega hits a one-wing angel onto a chair on Jericho.
Yeah, before he even did that, so Jericho tried to Irish whip him after he gained a bit of upper hand after cheating, doing cheap tactics. And then Omega reversed the Irish whip, and Jericho goes head first lawn dart style into this fucking chair. Brutal fucking looking bump here, and then takes the one-winged angel on the chair.
Yeah. And also he also gets V-triggered through a table before that too. So, yeah, one-wing angel into the chair. Omega retains the IWGP United States Championship. This obviously made sense. Omega was on the rise at this point, and we only thought Jericho was just doing this one match, so there was no reason that Jericho needed to win. Like, Jericho accomplished what he needed to do just by wrestling on this show anyways.
And Kevin Kelly on the commentary is like, the critics of Kenny Omega can go to hell. Like, I love that.
Yeah. And, the big part, and Jericho finally got a 5-star match. He said he had never gotten one, and he finally gets one here. Which I think is kind of a crock of shit, but whatever.
Yeah, it's
a huge chunk of his fucking career that could be 5-star.
Yeah,
okay.
but exactly my point. That's the problem.
Yeah, but
anyway, but yes, good, really awesome match here. 5 all day.
And this is not my first Jericho 5-star match. I've given Jericho plenty of Jericho matches before this 5 stars, but this is just fantastic. I don't think it's his best match. Like I think we've talked about, I think people have debated, is this 5 stars? I do like the ladder match that he has with Shawn Michaels a little bit more, but this match is still fantastic.
It's so good.
It's still fucking really good.
Yeah.
But heads up, boys, I'm going to have to step out. I do have a couple obligations that I have to get done tonight, or I'm not going to be able to do them at all.
Well, can you stay? Because we're at the main event.
I gotta go, bro. I got shit I gotta do. It's
please.
A little bit more.
I'm begging
bro,
you.
I have shit to do that's more important. I'm sorry. I have shit to do that's more important at the moment of time.
Well, we're gonna be only 15 minutes more, probably.
That's a fucking lie.
Dude, just hold out to the main event and then...
fine.
Just hold out to the main event and then
Fine.
Alright. Because we're already here at this point anyway.
I guess I can wait to go to the store to get shit later, I guess.
Sorry.
But yeah, I think we all said 5 stars. We've done career retrospectives before on all these guys, so we don't have to do it again. And yeah, we'll just say this basically caused Jericho to... saw how big of a star he could be, and continue the New Japan path, and we
left WWE essentially right after he was done.
Yeah.
After this match, he was done with WWE right then and there.
Yep. Anything else you want to say about this match, Mike, before I move on to the main event?
Nope. Let's go.
Main event was the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match. It was Okada defending against with Gato inside, defending against Tetsuya Naito. The reason for this match was Naito won the G1, and he was always on the precipice of becoming something great in New Japan, but he could just never have the big moment. He had big moments where he won singles titles and stuff, but he hadn't had the moment in New Japan. And Okada, this was when he was on this big run as IWGP heavyweight champion.
He was the longest reigning. He was the longest reigning by this point.
And he had those clashes with Omega and everything like that. Obviously, I think if Jericho didn't come in, it might have been Omega in this spot. He would have won the belt here, but I think this was actually a better route. And yeah, we had the match. The entrances are really good for this match. I won't do a full-on breakdown of this match just because of time's sake. I'll just say this: like, this match is very great technically. Very good finishes. Very technical match.
Watch the match.
Yeah. I will say it's one of those things where I think we can all agree this is 5 stars also, because this match should have died a death, but it didn't at all, and the crowd was electric the whole way through. They had them in the palm of their hand. They were having them eat every move. They had them hanging on their every word pretty much in this match. They told a fantastic story throughout the beginning, middle, and end. And a lot of people said Okada never should have won. I disagree. I think this is the best way you could have done it, because Okada was the face of the company at the time. And I think Naito looked so good in defeat, he didn't need the title here yet. I think it was brilliant.
I'll say one thing, too, the way he has him lose, too, because he clearly could have put him away after the Destino, but he made the mistake. He made the mistake and went and decided to go for a second Destino, which ended up being his undoing. And that actually made a good story.
That was really good, yeah. I like his Destino, by the way. That's a good reverse DDT. Good shit.
I want to say to Okada, I think has the best DDT in the business. His DDTs are really good.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he's got the best drop kick in the business, too. Best lariat, best drop kick, best DDT.
Yeah.
That's why he's a Rainmaker, because he's got simple shit that's fucking great.
I went 4 3/4. If I probably watched this match on its own, I'd probably go 5, but I think I was just drained from the show by this point. I think the match does drag a bit sometimes, but again, I think it's just because it's a 6-hour show. You start to feel drained.
Which is fair enough. I give this a 5 because it shouldn't have been as good as it was, and I think it was actually better than the last 2 matches, which were also 5 stars. Unlike
what about you, Mike?
I'm not going to break the fucking scale though.
I completely agree with that. I think it's a fantastic back and forth and a solid main event with these two. And we'll see another G1 climax where one of these two fucks wins again.
Yeah, so they've been inseparable.
One of these two will win again at some point in the future. We'll see.
I'll just talk about the career retrospectives together. Can we let Mike give his grade since there's nothing? We're basically done with the show now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's all right. That's all. So yeah, Mike, what do you give this?
A+, and you folks have
why A+ before you go? Besides,
oh my god, does it matter?
I just want to know.
That's it.
Let the people know.
Because I say so.
No, but actually a reason.
Because, I don't know, John Cena in the background.
All right. No, I know you got to rush. Just give a legit thing. Give a legit thing, and then you could get out of here after that.
Oh, my God. Fine. Okay. My reason is because I think the show was good. Done.
Okay.
There you go.
That's it. All right. Do you have anything you want to plug before you get out of here? Hello? Hello? Hello?
I think he's gone.
Okay. Oh. I guess I'll plug his stuff. Check out Michael_X_WYW on Twitch, and check out Firelord Kuzan or twitch.tv/Firelord Kuzan, where they do Meltzer Mondays with Kuzan and Zero and Nikos when he's back from Greece. Right now he's at Greece, so he's not there. But you know. So
he's coming back soon, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coming back soon. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, now that you've plugged the stuff, let me do the career retrospectives on these guys. Naito would basically, he was a heel at this time, by the way, but he essentially turned babyface, because he was just so popular. Ironically enough, he ended up having a match with Jericho. That's like when Jericho showed back up again. He ended up having a good feud with him for the Intercontinental belt. He lost it, then beat him back for the belts, and then he basically became the face of New Japan. He won various championships. He eventually did win the heavyweight title and merge it with the IC title, like James talked about earlier. And then eventually, he just won the G1 recently, and now it looks like he may win the belt again. So we'll have to wait and see. As for Okada, he will continue to be the face of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Eventually, he lost the belt to Kenny Omega, and he's just been on a run. He's basically been the guy in New Japan, and he's won the champion anytime they've needed him to be the champion. He's won various G1s, and that's all I can really say about him. I think we talked about they've gone a little well too much with Okada. I think we've mentioned that
a little bit, a little bit. I don't think at this point they did. But they started going the Cena route with him, I think, a little bit.
But we don't. Eventually, we don't know what the career holds for Okada because he's in a bit of a dark path because he just lost a dream match to Bryan Danielson and he just lost the G1 in the finals. So we're kind of hoping heel turn because I think it would be something new for him.
That would be interesting, a heel turn with Okada, actually. I'd be very interested in a heel turn with Okada, especially when he's been the biggest babyface in that company for so long.
Yeah, especially because you have people like Sonata and Naito there now, and like Ospreay's even a big babyface at the moment. Like he'd be wrestling the same people, but it'd be such a different dynamic. I think it would freshen up his stem.
That's fair, yeah.
That's the end of this Wrestle Kingdom 12. We will say this show is very significant. It causes New Japan to just boom and have this great boom period where their
subscribers went through the roof after the show, by the way. Like, they really put their best foot forward, I think.
Yeah, and then, New Japan, will go on to be really successful. This led to the creation of, not creation of All In, but, this led to basically All In having hope to be successful, and it causes a lot of stuff to happen there. Tony Khan saw, this show, and All In was successful, and started up AEW, and we've talked about kind of what happened there.
And now Ring of Honor, AEW, and New Japan are all working together under one roof, where Tony Khan owns Ring of Honor as well.
Yeah, so it's like, I think we talked about this, though. The show's been kind of a curse a little bit, at least on my end anyways, because this is the first New Japan show I've ever watched, and I still like New Japan, but I feel like this was a bad show for me to start off of, because, it hasn't hit that level, I don't think, quite yet, and I think,
it's hard to follow up a fucking top-to-bottom great card like this, if you're anybody. But to me, Mike rated an A+. I give it an S rank. Still,
yeah, I agree.
I think it's such an S rank show. But either way, top to bottom, the card was fucking great. And the fact that it was, you're not gonna have that for a long while. And they've tried. They busted their ass to try to have that again, but it's really difficult.
Yeah, matches. This show definitely is scale breaking. Card top to bottom, every match feels different. Card structure was very smart, just sick matches. And I think why it's also an S rank. It's the same reason we give WrestleMania 1, we didn't give it an S rank, but we give it the rate that it does, just because of the historical significance of what happens with the industry after the show.
There's a lot of game-changing stuff as well. I think it still would have been S rank regardless, even without that. But that kind of puts it over the top for me. Of this is S rank all day.
Yeah,
because this is the best way you could showcase all your talent at once for 6+ hours, and do brilliant with it. I think. By the way, I think it was 5.5 hours because they had Okada. As tradition, the winner of the final match always cuts a promo, and it was Okada. So Okada and Gato cut a promo after the fact, but. It was.
We didn't even mention this. Gato's career with perspective. He basically joins Bullet Club after this, and basically.
And touched Kota Ibushi.
No.
We don't talk about that.
Oh wait, we've done. I think we've done Gato's career.
We've definitely done it because we did it when we did Halloween Havoc.
Yeah. So
yeah. That was the
Go watch it. Go watch that because Mike and James and Nico's making like a bunch of funny stuff talking about Gato when he wrestles his match.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But yeah, great show. Good retro.
Yeah. As for stuff to plug, I'll just make it quick because my food's gonna be here fairly soon. Obviously, you can check out the past retros on this channel. SummerSlam 05 is coming up. All In, if you want to watch All In, the original All In retro, because we did that a bit ago, a while ago. Just go watch all the retros. Watch WWE Aftershock for this week. Watch AEW Spoke.
Yeah, we got a lot of content. I mean, my thing as well. It's like I got watch parties coming up for the go home week of All In. I'm gonna be doing Fyter Fest, Dynamite, and Collision watch parties. We're gonna be doing the same for All In go home or All Out rather go home show. And
then check out
Zero is gonna be doing All In watch party. Casey is gonna be doing All Out watch party. So that's how we're gonna be doing that. We are gonna have watch parties for both events. And I will be on the call for the Jeff Meacham Network watch-along event of both shows as well. So you're going to be getting a lot of coverage of these shows.
Yeah. We're going to try to get some stuff out there recorded. We're going to try to get All Out recorded Sunday. It might be Tuesday, depending on the schedule, but we're hoping for Sunday. Whatever day we don't record All Out will be the day we record Spoke, just for time convenience. And then we're going to try to do Payback 2017 retro, and then Bash of the Beach 2000 retro. Because we've been doing so many good retros, we're owed a bad one. So
yes, we are owed a bad one for sure. And I think we're the only two that are going to be doing it, by the way, because I don't think anybody wants to relive that bullshit. To be
your
fair,
pick. So
it is.
I don't even know how I'm going to review that. I don't even know how I'm going to review that show because that's like a completely different. Because I've reviewed a lot of weird shows. Like, I know I reviewed the Raw Underground retro, but I have no clue how I'm going to tackle that fucking retro. That's like a beast as it is.
It is interesting. But yeah, we got a lot coming up. So stay tuned. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You can say your catchphrase. We can get the hell out of here.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching this long ass. How long was the actual video though? Because I know if you
3 hours 15 minutes, which is good.
Yeah, it's fair. Thank you guys for watching. And since it's being recorded in the past, we will talk to you guys in the future.
We doing all the classics, you heard it, then I grabbed it. Flow like Method Man, then run like I'm Rabbit. Soon as I hear the bass line, it be my FaceTime. Music's in my veins, so just in case I'm without my iPod or a media player, I'll check my